Hello, thank you for joining or tuning into the Corner Store Podcast. These are a couple of guys from Glenville, Georgia, and they're letting you in on their group chat. So sit back, enjoy the ride, enjoy the laughs, have a good time.
Hill over there.
Oh, it wasn't no girl from what's the name? Stephanie, was it?
Oh no.
I'm gonna find out.
I'll tell y'all fine, man. I don't want to say it.
I'm gonna find out.
Try to get me caught up, boy.
Yeah, I'm find
He ain't got no pictures though. Don't go try to track him.
I ain't got no pictures, Slick. I ain't gonna lie.
He out there. Hey, he out there.
Hey,
you on here?
Real quick, Al. Speaking of pictures, I got one more. What were they thinking?
Oh,
So if you're in the chat, I
Put it
need
out
y'all to
there.
pay attention to this and send this to them once you guys see it. So take a look at this. This was around 1992, 93, and the Gorgeous Hunk contest. What were they thinking?
and that Bill back down.
That's
We have Phil Burns.
That's Mike Red. Mike Red and DJ
Jinx, Rochelle,
Rochelle.
Mike Jinx. Oh, Phil and they're looking like Erica back there.
Yeah,
Man, Bill.
Hey, what's happening, good people? Welcome back to the Corner Store. As we get ready to start a new week, we just wanted to surprise y'all with a pop-up show tonight and just get things cracking and popping to go into a new week, blessed and highly favored, finish stronger than we started, and bring it to the stage. We have Teacher of the Year still, Edmund Richardson, and the former Democrat, now Black Republican himself.
No, don't put that Republican laugh on me. Hey, don't put that on me. I just ain't with y'all no more.
Bro?
I just ain't with y'all no more, bro.
Who you with?
He was Stephen A. Smith. He was Stephen A. Smith.
I'm with whoever coming up new. I'm done with them 1965 tactics y'all using.
Oh Lord. Yeah. Now you started a long chat with us in the group chat last night.
Gotcha.
And it spurred a lot of engagement and conversation between the crew. So do you want to pick up from there or any topics?
We can go. What I'm saying is, everybody's getting upset about the economy. Everybody's getting upset about stocks, and I'm asking you right now, to the average person, and I know everybody, me and you and Edmund went back and forth. To the average person, it's not affecting nobody yet. All right. It's not. You know what I'm saying? I look at it and I'm gonna take a poll that even at my job, 50% of the people, and then we are considered middle class based off of the salaries and the taxes that we pay in, and only 50% of those guys invest in 401k. So if a person that's got what I call the exposable income, that means you can go out there and buy some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? If they are not doing 401k, and I'm pretty sure the guy at Walmart is not doing 401k. Man, I just did 401k. I started with a new company and I did 401k. Man, that thing dropped my $500. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't see the average person having a big issue with it yet, with the economy yet.
Well, like I said yesterday, Roderick, if you look at it, let's take Glenville for an example. I know this because of my mom. When she worked at Rotary, that's their retirement plan. It's a 401k. That's all they have. And so when the stock market goes down and you have this man playing with the stock market like that, that doesn't impact their way of life. Let's say, for instance, now to the average person who just now, let's say I started out working at Rotary and I'm only 10 years in, maybe it may not affect me right now like it may affect somebody who's at the door of retirement. If I'm at the door of retirement and the stock market take plunges like this, and it affects me and my ability to make the decision whether I can retire or not. And so my thing is, we might not be affected right now, But it will trickle down eventually where we will be affected when it comes to lending, or when we want to, let's say, get a home loan, a line of credit on your home, or you want to buy a new car or get a credit card. Those things impact us when you play around with the market like that. And that's the reason why most of the bankers and people on Wall Street want a stable market, because without us, the middle class and the working poor, I mean, they don't have a business. They thrive on us.
And I understand that. And we talked about the housing market. We talked about, buying other products. And I agree with everything that you said, especially for the guy that's sitting there and depending on that money from the stock market 401k. He's got tough decisions right now. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not to ride out another 3 years, 4 years and see how it play out, or take his losses and go home. Most of them going to be forced to ride it out, which is bad luck. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Everybody know, I mean, stock market ain't nothing but gambling. You know what I'm saying? You gambling, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is, but it also is an indication of how well Main Street is doing or not doing.
I disagree with you. I don't think it's never was an indicator. To me, that's a false narrative right there. Most people that do stocks put a large majority of their money into that particular 401ks or different things like that. Let's exempt 401k, because 401k, most of us probably wouldn't even have the high percentage if the company didn't match it. You get what I'm saying? Most of us don't go no higher than what the company's matching, so but most people that really invest, I'm talking about those guys that go out there and they put money in there and invest. Those guys are not, how can I say, people that are struggling for a check, So to me, that's never been an indicator of, the market has never been an indicator of how mainstream is operating.
It doesn't indicate how the pain Main Street feels, but it indicates how well the stability of the economy is. So if you say if the market crashes on the stock market side, then that could lead to layoffs, because as a shareholder, you want to maximize and optimize your shares within that company. If your company's not making revenue or making money, then they're going to look at cutting expense, and usually the dispensable assets are the people.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So that it's not an indicator of the pain that Main Street feels, but it's an indicator of how well or stable the economy is for Main Street.
Did you watch the business this morning on CNN? They was talking about the tariffs and economy, and they was talking about, that only 3%, I think the guy said 4%. On paper, it says 8%, but he's saying 4% of that is your office workers. We talking about manufacturing jobs. He was basically saying, let me rephrase that. He was talking about manufacturing jobs, and he said right now 8% of manufacturing jobs are held in the United States. And he said that's not a true number, because 4% of that is basically your secretaries, your lawyers, your accountants, people that are not really in the manufacturing, not the actual manufacturing. And he said, so 4% of that is manufacturing jobs.
But even with that 4%, though, if you look at the total sum from an individual standpoint, that's millions of people. If those millions of people are in an ecosystem of a community or silo, that's money and transaction that's not going to be available to keep or sustain that community.
But see, I think Roger just hit on something that I think is the bigger argument in this thing regarding tariffs. They believe that if we put tariffs on these countries that we have a trade imbalance with, that it will bring jobs back to the United States. See, to me, that's an intellectually dishonest conversation, because if we're going to be honest about this, those jobs are not coming back to America because it costs too much to make those things here. Why do you think Ithaca closed down, where they were making polos and making all this stuff over here, where they were paying these folks living wages or minimum wages or above living wage, about $7, $8, $9, $10, $11, $12 an hour, where you can pay somebody $2 a day to do the same thing. And so guess what? If you make those products here, the price of those goods and services are going to go up. Our economy is too smart for that. That's the reason why, I think we need a grown-up conversation in this whole ideal around trading and deficits and bringing jobs back here. They're not coming back. You need to go get an education. You need to get an education in the areas of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. If you don't have a degree or a profession inside of that area, finance or being a lawyer, then you're gonna be left behind. And so what we're dealing with is a spoiled subset of Americans in this country who feels that they should be able to graduate high school, go work in a plant, make $80,000 a year and retire. Those days are over. It's too expensive to produce those types of things here in this country. You better get with the program. That's the reason why we got to retool our schools to focus in those areas.
He also talked about service. He said we have transitioned from a manufacturing country to a service country. And service is your truck drivers, your plumbers, your even going up to security actions, your what they call it as cybersecurity. All these are service option jobs. And I think that's our mindset needs to change, like you said.
Yeah.
Everybody's not gonna be
that is basic. Yeah, that's basic economics.
Walk out and make that much money. I got a kid right now. He's 30. He's making good money, man. He's making way more than I did when I was young. And I talked to him, and he tell you the truth, man. I kind of learned from him. He's in a good position. He's by himself. He's making a good salary. Like I said, more than I made at his age. And he does a heavy investment money last week, you know what I'm saying? But he's gonna recover because, like I said, he's a young guy and he has that vision. And on top of that, his salary is pretty good. He could take a lick, but I think his mindset though was he needed to be rich by a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a lot of us right now is, I'm looking at that Louis Vuitton. I just looked at a Louis Vuitton, a used Louis Vuitton, $1,700. $1,700 for a used bag. All right. My wife went over there and looked at it. So I look at it again and I said, the economy is supposed to be bad. Tariffs supposed to be bad. And this lady is over here looking at a $1,700 bag. See, to me, that's the real indicators of whether or not the economy is good or the economy is bad. Is how people purchase items. If eggs go up $10 and you still purchase them, to me,
but see, that's relative, Roderick. That's relative, right?
Consumer confidence as a whole. What does that look like when you include those who not barely making minimum wage or still at a poverty
level? You ain't getting a Louis. That's how I look at it.
But see, for you, right? Let's say, for instance, for you looking at that Louis right now, it hasn't hit you yet. It's like a tsunami. It probably didn't hit you yet because you got enough money saved up. You good where you are. But if it was somebody living from paycheck to paycheck, they're gonna feel every penny extra they got to pay for those eggs, for those other things. So I mean, we're all at different places in the economy, and so we're gonna be affected differently, but depending on where we sit.
I got you. Louis hit me a long time ago, bro. I just don't see it. I don't care how much money I got in the bank. I ain't paying no $1,700 unless I have to. Now, if my wife come up there and say, I want that bag, you know what I'm saying? That's a different story. But if I can talk her ass out of it, I'm going to try my best,
Yeah. I mean, it's overrated. I don't know if y'all seen the TikTok, which is a good segue, Roger, to the TikTok that China manufacturers are now doing where they're exposing some of the brands. It could be propaganda, but it's highly likely that they're telling the truth because some of these companies have gone out there and outsourced their manufacturing to China. China does 90% of the work, and then they ship it back to these countries, and all they do is put their logo, stamping, and packaging on it. So how do you feel about that?
It's been going on forever. Just look how much I was watching a video the other day that stated the price it costs to make a pair of Jordans or Nikes, right? It's like 50 cents to $1, and they come here and mark it up exponentially and then sell it back to us, and we paying all this money for these shoes that only cost a few dollars or cents to make. So man, I mean,
let me tell you about that, Edmund. I worked in the Philippines. All right. So back in 2005, 2008, I worked at the Philippines monthly. The Philippines had a Nike factory in the town that I was working at. So I'm gonna be honest. Me and some of my guys would go over there, and they basically will steal Jordans, Nikes. I don't know how they come up with it. I say stealing, but they will sell us these Nikes because they knew they were popular with Americans, and they would sell us Jordans, $50. And I talked to my driver. You know what he told me? He told me $50 is almost a month's salary for them. So he said that they would go in that factory, build shoes, they ship them out. Some of them people would steal them, sell them on the side, street market, whatever. Same shoe that you going out the Foot Locker and paying $250 for.
Absolutely.
The same shoe was available in the Philippines for $50.
And that's what they said. They sell it to Nike for. Now that you say that, they said they sell it to Nike for $50. And then Nike sells it to let's say a Foot Locker or a Finish Line, and then they mark it up even more to like $150 a shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for those in the audience, maybe you guys haven't had a chance. I know a good part of our audience are probably not on TikTok, but I pulled a video of one of the manufacturer representatives, and she's talking about all the luxury brands that actually manufacture in China. So let's take a listen to this video.
30 luxury brands. Some of their products are made in China. Ralph Lauren, Armani, Nike, Dior, Lululemon, Apple, Michael Kors, Coach, Calvin Klein, Prada, Galeen, Swarovski, Adidas, The North Face, Rimowa, Levi's, Burberry, Versace, Chanel, Cartier, Ferragamo, Timberland, Yves Saint Laurent, Victoria's Secret, Puma, Uniqlo, Disney, Max Mara, Givenchy. The producing cost is only 1/10 of its price. Can you believe it? Fellow Helen, your business advisor in China. I will tell you 30 luxury brands.
Yeah.
So we hear all of those name brands. I don't feel so bad about buying my knockoffs I bought in Jamaica before. It's not a knockoff if it's made in the same place as a real thing.
They all making the same.
They all making the same thing, man. Yeah. I don't care. That's why you can't tell them to put a knockoff and the real thing.
Hey, them Ray-Ban shades, man. I've seen them make Ray-Bans, put a stick on there, then make the same shades and put another name on there, and $100 less.
Right.
Yeah, I'm telling you, go to Europe, man. You'll see that.
That's what some of the manufacturers are saying. Like they've dirty China's name so bad. If you just take France off of it and put China on it, keep the same bag, it diminishes in like $20,000 to $30,000. A Hermes bag would diminish that much just by changing the name. So people buy into status, looking luxury, looking high.
Especially black folk.
Hey, since we talking about status and have you watched are you paying attention to the Tennessee volunteers?
I just started paying attention today.
I caught something yesterday surfing.
Yeah. So y'all understand what happened, right?
Yeah. The kid want more money. He saw what Carson Beck was getting, so he want to go and make just as much.
So my question to you guys is that are we tainting college sports?
I think there needs to be some rules. They're gonna have to put some rules to kind of sanction how they go about doing this, because it's going to become a free for all.
We're in a free market, but we're in a free market world, though.
Yeah.
You know, my thing is you can't argue free market and not let them kids figure out what they're. To me, I can ask for what I want. Either you pay me or you don't pay me.
Yeah.
You know, the market establishes itself. You know what I'm saying? So that's just like Jordans. First pair of Jordans, I remember T. Dinkins and Rock and them come to school, man. And they had them ugly Air Jordan, bro. I to this day, I still thought them shoes is ugly to me. You know what I'm saying? But that's not, I don't like those things. But them were the shit back then. I remember that. We were like in middle school. Rock and T come in there, man. And I asked them how much. I think I asked T how much them shoes was. He said $100. I said, oh my God, my dad, you know, Robbie King wasn't gonna spend no $100 on those shoes, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Wasn't either.
And now that same pair of shoes go for $400. Same pair. You know what I'm saying? And you know why it's going for $400? Because it's people out there willing to purchase it.
Yeah, the market sets the rate. If nobody was buying it at that price, they're gonna lower the price.
Hey, you damn right. And the same thing with eggs. You keep going in there buying your omelet for $10, $15, them people gonna continue to raise that stuff up.
Yeah,
they were the first one, bro. I remember that.
I did think y'all was bougie back then, bro. Y'all used to have the first of everything.
I remember that. Right? We were in middle school, man. I remember that, bro.
But the market will decide. I think what the schools are so used to having all the power too, that I think is making them a little bit uncomfortable as well.
That's why them coaches leaving, man. You know what I'm saying? They can't adjust. Nick Saban can't adjust. He can't sit down and holler at you and scream at you, and then all of a sudden next week you leave. You know, he can't, his ego can't handle that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I'm surprised Michigan State coach still there.
Yeah, to me, I look at it as an emancipation for the kids. How long have these coaches been doing this where they not committed to the kids, knowing they go to parents' homes, knowing they're leaving that same year, not going to be there the next year, but they entice these kids to come to
and if a school come out, you're right. I didn't think about if you look, and then if a school come out offer them $10 million a year, and they making $6, they leaving. They going for that $10 million. Let me tell you
this. And not only that, like the big schools like Texas, say what was his name? Charlie Strong. That was
Jimbo Fisher when he left Florida State for Texas A&M.
Yeah, or when the school fires the coach.
Yeah,
and then bring their own person in, like Charlie Stone when he was at Texas or wherever he was at.
These coaches, but to me, these coaches, I don't like talking to coaches. I talk to them when I have to. After I don't talk, I don't really speak to coaches. Coaches are other people. You know what I'm saying? They don't take criticism well. They also they have something in their mind, like a path, and they set, in a vision, and that's what they want, and a disrupted parent or a disrupted kid that don't have the same vision won't do nothing but cause issues in that particular system. My son had a unique recruiting coming out of high school. I'm not going to put the coach on blast, but I had a coach call us to set up a appointment, a Zoom, to say to offer him. This was like a Wednesday. He called us about the Tuesday evening and said he can't do it. He had some medical issues. Said that we're gonna do it on Friday. So Friday, me, my wife, and my son sitting around the computer. We get a message an hour prior saying, "Hey, he has his daughter made a tournament or some shit, and he wanted to enjoy that, so he'll see us on Monday." Okay, so that's twice he done stood us up. All right, this in high school. So Monday comes around, nothing. 5 o'clock come, nobody, nothing mentioned. They go ghost. Okay, My son gets a couple more offers, D1 offers. He chose the Air Force Academy. He goes to the Air Force Academy. Didn't really like the battle between the Air Force, him becoming an officer, him also learning basketball, and also what was the other thing? Oh, and high academics. So that became an issue, and basketball suffered. So this coach comes back apologizing. He don't watch my son play a little bit. He comes back and he apologized. Okay. I wasn't part of it because, you know, me, you know, you got to earn your trust with me. Once you cross me, it's pretty much you done with me. You know, I might talk to you and all that, but I don't mess with you. So I removed myself from the situation. My son took the visit. Him and my wife flew to the particular school, like the visit. He signs with him. Okay. Now, anybody that follow my son knows what school I'm talking about. But anyway, he signs with the school. 2 weeks, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks prior to him going to his first class. I had a coach. This coach didn't even call me and tell me that he had accepted a job at another school. He didn't call us and tell us. I had another AAU coach call me and say, hey, man, did you hear that the other coach left? And I said, no, they haven't called us. So a week passed. The assistant coach calls. He's trying to find a job. On top of that, he's trying to take care of my son. This is assistant coach. Remember, the coach never called. Okay? Never called, never explained himself, never saying, hey, Mr. King, look, I had to take this position. It was for me. I'd have understood that. All right. Then the next time I hear from this coach, the same coach that left my son didn't call, was when my son got in the portal. He calls me. He's not the head coach. He calls me and guess what he says? Hey, you know, I want to give you a call. Now, I know why he called me. He called me to get everything straight. He wanted to know if I had a problem. That's why he called me. You get what I'm saying? He talked to my son. He did that. Everybody told him, you're going to have to talk to Mr. King. All right? So he calls me, and he thought I was going to be an asshole, and I wasn't. I gave my son's number. I told him, you know, his schedule. And, you know, he was so arrogant. You know what he told me? Yeah, I can help your son. He needs to come down here. We ain't got much money, but we can, you know, I can get him straight. He needs to get his jumper, you know, a lot faster. Instead of this man calling me and saying, Mr. King, look, I left. I didn't leave in the right way. But I'm settled over here at this school. I think you got an opportunity. We got an opportunity to get your son to the next level. I'd have respected him for that. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't. His arrogance, his mentality thought that I still needed him. The way he sounded was like my son still needed him. You know what I'm saying? And that today's day, that is not happening. These coaches need the players. The players don't need the coaches. It's plenty of coaches to step up. It's plenty of coaches to step up.
Go on. Who little cousin this is right here talking about they need help?
I don't know, bro. You're in the wrong spot, though, fella.
Yeah, Wahab. This is we're in America, Wahab.
Yeah. But anyway, man, what I'm telling you is that, you know, these coaches gonna have to transition, bro. They're gonna have to get, you know, and you're gonna have to. Your kid right now is a walking billboard. So you need to start looking at, and you are a walking billboard. You're gonna have to start acting the part. Your kid is gonna have to start acting the part, and he's gonna have to start doing it now. Y'all kids are coming up on 17, 18, and these decisions gonna have to be made, bro. And them coaches, some of these coaches, and I'm gonna be honest with you, gonna lie. You're gonna have to figure it out. And they're not gonna tell you what your kid's value is, bro. Because if you truly know your kid's value, they in trouble.
Yep. And for those of you guys don't know or haven't seen the announcement, Roger, well, I'll let you do the honors, Roger. let them know about your son and where he's going and what to look forward to.
All right, so man, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to that Rashad worked hard, man. Rashad come out of high 0 stars. He come to Georgia, unknown. I think his first year in Georgia, he was ranked 150 something, ranked in his position. I don't even think it was a player position, but he wound up leaving the state of Georgia at 50, 0 stars. Went through the rigmarole of the military school. Got signed at got a blessing and got signed at Northeastern. Worked hard for 3 years, man, and put himself in a position to where he got recruited by a lot of big name schools. We didn't advertise all the schools, but I can tell you this. Team that was in the Final Four offered him. Teams that won conferences in the Big 12 offered him. Teams that in the SEC offered him. ACC offered him. He wound up selecting LSU.
What made him choose LSU?
To be honest with you, man, the coach, we as a family kind of chose LSU. It came down to 3 schools, all right? One school kind of wanted him to wait for a decision. One of the players, if they were going to the NBA or not. I just thought that with the history of coaches that I had, we just couldn't wait. The next school was perfect. You know what I'm saying? They had everything. Family atmosphere. They was giving him the basketball. Money was good. And, facilities were good. Then he goes to LSU. LSU basically told us, hey, not only we gonna get him to the next level, but we had the facilities to get him to the next level. We got the finance or the capabilities to take care of my son with flat feet. You know what I'm saying? They had a plan for that. They had a plan for his picking up weight. They had a plan for him getting a degree, because he's only 5 classes away from getting his degree from Northeastern. So they had a plan. And guess what? That guy called me. That head coach called me 3-4 times, giving me updates. Hey, Mr. King, this is where we at. Your son right now is going to see the dietitian. So when I made my decision, and I, like I said, I didn't make the decision. What I told Sha was, hey, this is why I like this program. This is why I like the coach. If they check mark everything that you want from basketball, I said from another perspective, from a family perspective, I like the way this coach is communicating with me, with my wife, and telling us what he can offer you. I said, to me, he won. Now, when it came down to the finance portion, I can tell you this. I don't know. I wasn't involved in that. That between him and his agent.
Gotcha. Man, we definitely want to have him on the show sometime this summer.
Yeah, he's coming home short. He's got to report to Baton Rouge in a little bit. They want him down there a little early. I have to be careful with his schedule because he's right now he's transitioning to a new school. On top of that, he's got to take a class from the new school, and he's got to finish up his classes at Northeastern. And Northeastern is not a school that you get behind academically, So he's gonna have a busy summer, trying to get his degree. You see in the transfer portal, they are not even trying to finish their degree. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This kid had enough, sense to say, look, I love this school, but y'all got to give me an opportunity and some time to finish my degree at Northeastern.
Yeah, we definitely want to have him on so we can give him his flowers, because just to hear that story, man, I keep telling you need to write that Black Fathers book on how to help kids navigate through to where you got your kids to, because it'll help so many people. And just to see him on here and so other people can see him. That, like, what if we had somebody to see at our age at his age.
Hey, don't put that on me. I'm gonna tell you, I've always felt like good people surround themselves with good people, and good people attract good people. You know what I'm saying? And we have found good people. You know what I'm saying? His AAU coach, good people. You know what I'm saying? He took care of us. His coaches, you know, they could have been upset about him leaving. They didn't. They stayed there and mentored him. He's still in Boston. You get what I'm saying? He's still up there in Boston. So, you know, they mentor him. We've met some good people, man. Shannon, you've come to my son's game. They meet good people. You get what I'm saying? You have taken some of their shots and made it, you know, and blew it up on Facebook. So we've met good people, man. So it ain't only me, bro. You know, it takes a whole village, bro. And if you go in there as a father and think you know everything, you ain't doing nothing but hurting your kid.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, I lean heavily on you for a lot of advice when it comes to raising kids. Like, we've all played sports. I played sports. But when it comes to fatherhood, you've experienced things before I can. So you've seen it. So whenever I take your advice, I take heed to it, because you've gone on. You got so many doggone kids.
Yeah, man. But you know what I've learned? You know, Robbie Kane told me, he said it's not a manual for raising kids. He said it's not a manual. He said, so the way you raising your son, Hot Dog, Edmund, Micah, the way y'all raising y'all kids, nobody should comment, because there's really no way to raise a kid. You know, think about it. We all come from Reuben and Novella. And all of us ain't the same. Some of us preachers, some of us not. You know what I'm saying?
Heathens.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, we gotta cover up.
12-year-old bartenders.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We are, you know. So what I'm gonna tell you is, man, put your kids in the right hands. Always trust who you put your kids in the right hands. Also, accountability, man. I always tell, like Ray came home. I didn't make him get up and go work out, but you know what I told him? Hey, that number one running back over there working out. He showed it a video today. He also got an offer from Georgia. You don't. You know what I'm saying? Maybe him playing video game. You know? Yeah. So I'm real with them boys on that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a big disciplinarian. You know, I'm not. Look, I was a knucklehead growing up. So when my kids make a mistake, I don't really jump on them like that. You know what I'm saying? What we do is we talk through it. We talk about it, and you can't make the same mistake twice. You know what I'm saying? That I don't tolerate. You know what I'm saying? But nah, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I've been lucky. I've been lucky and I've been blessed, man, because them boys, I got many uncles. I got many uncles, man, that's been involved. I got, you know, aunts that's been involved, supportive. My family as a total, bro, you know, it's like 3,000 of us, bro. You know, they all been supportive, man. You know what I'm saying? So
they still added to that number.
Yeah,
still added. But yeah, man, just gonna give you your flowers while we can, man. And
yes, sir.
Also salute to Edmund as well. But I would love to start a series, bro. If y'all are cool with it, we'll put it in our group chat. But like, get your son on, Roger, and then Terrence Bacon's son. Matter of fact, he was here this weekend. I didn't get a chance to catch up with him in Gainesville, but his son is highly recruited right now, and he wants to come on the show as well. So,
I've been following him too, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Anybody we can get from the whole team? Yeah, he's at Hoover. Yeah, he's at
Hoover High School.
But he's heavily recruited right now. I'm trying to get him to break his decision on the corner store.
Yeah, he was in Florida that weekend.
Yeah. So,
but that's a great segue. It's something I've been seeing lately, y'all, and it's been a hotly debated topic on social media. Is college necessary for Black men?
I think so.
It came about when they I think the New York Times, somebody did a story at Black colleges, a stubborn gender enrollment gap keeps growing. it says only 19% of students at Howard University are Black men, whose enrollment levels at four-year colleges have plummeted across the board. And I think they're there, and you can play that video right there. That's a great.
Yeah, that was a great. Hey man, I ain't even see you to show me.
I'm gonna tell you something too, and I'll tell you after we watch this video.
Yep. So to tee it up, this young lady is talking about why aren't Black men going to college, and so she kind of gives her own perspective on it.
Had to have money to holler at you. That's why they don't want to go to college. College is the long play. College is 4 years, then sometimes an additional 2 or 3, sometimes an additional 5 or 6, depending on what career field you choose. Y'all told Black men they got to have money right now. So they're not thinking about 4, 5, 6 years down the road. They want to go make money now. And regardless of what some men will say, there are a lot of men out there in the world that do things to impress women. Women, y'all may not recognize the power that you have, but I am willing to bet my last dollar if we put more emphasis on being attracted to intelligence, being attracted to character, integrity, being attracted to commitment, determination, drive, I'm willing to bet they'll start going to college. I said what I said, because if you stop and think about it, a lot of the things that we do is to impress the other sex. Now, I know y'all are going to say, I'm decentering men. I hear you. And men, I know you're going to say, I ain't worried about these. I get it. But we all want attention. A lot of us want to be validated. A lot of us want to be chose, be picked. And we will do the things to get us picked. So that might be why they're not going to college. Another idea is, a lot of Black men are being raised by single Black mothers, and they ain't got the money to support their sons through college. So how am I going to get into college when my mama can barely afford to feed me and my siblings? I don't feel like that's even an option. I don't have a lot of role models in my neighborhood that are showing me that I should go to college because they didn't go to college. And then if I do have an uncle, a daddy, or granddaddy that is in my life, sometimes they hit me with, oh boy, just go get a job because real men work. So y'all help me to understand why they would choose college. And now y'all are ragging on trade schools, talking about trades to give you a job. Excuse me? As a hairstylist myself, I make way more money as a hairstylist than a lot of y'all college graduates. And from what I hear, y'all are struggling to find jobs with those college degrees. So let's not poop on trades, please. Okay, thank you.
Hey, I agree with about 80%.
I agree about 95.
Yeah, I give it about
95 and a half.
90. But I can tell you this: she hit a couple items that I would like to address. Is one is, remember we talked earlier about my coworker. I said he want the money now. He want to be rich now.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the issues. You know, I just talked to him about going to school, getting a college degree, getting that paper. You know what I'm saying? Now, the next thing we got to educate ourselves on is what paper we get. You can't go to school, spend $100,000 on a career that's only going to pay you $40,000, $50,000. So we have to be better in the career fields that we chose. We choose. I messed up. I was in the military. I was a military cop. I went and I got a degree in criminal justice. I messed up. One, as a cop, you don't need a bachelor's in criminal justice. You make it, the difference between coming in there with an associate's degree, well, really, with a driver's license and an associate's degree was $2,000, and then additional $2,000 if you had a bachelor's degree. So I really wasted my time getting that degree. My next degree was sociology. When I looked at the job market, guess what I looked at? I could have been a counselor at a school, but I had to go back and get my master's degree. You get what I'm saying? Which is additional money, additional work, additional time spent away from family, getting this stuff, course done. So we have to choose our career fields better. Even trade schools. You get what I'm saying? you know, barbers right now making a lick. I mean, I hate to say it, but
that's crazy. You say that.
it's
It's harder to become a barber than it is.
Some people you paying $50. You paying $50 for a haircut.
$50 now. So trade school to me, welding. I know a kid in high school was making $50 an hour.
See, bro. I think that the conversation is like for so long we've been pitting college against trade schools, and that shouldn't be the thing. My thing is it depends on your level of intelligence or what you think you're capable of doing.
It takes a lot to go to school, bro.
Right. It does. So what I'm saying is, we're not saying you should go to school if you feel like you want to go be a welder. You're good with hands. You're good with this. A welder, a HVAC technician, a plumber. You know, those things like that. A hair, a beautician, or a barber. Those things are great. But my thing is, I think what you said earlier, Roger, is what we need to focus on. Where are we steering our kids to? And I said this earlier in our earlier conversation is that we need to focus our kids on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. That is where the jobs of the future is, and that's the jobs that's going to pay you $6
not
figures.
Biology. And I know so many of my friends.
But okay, like, let's say for instance you do biology. Biology is good if you plan to be a nurse, if you plan to be a doctor. Those are prerequisites to go to medical school to kind of prepare you for that field, if that's what you're going to do, because we need more Black doctors. If you want to,
but remember, I want my money now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But what I'm saying is,
money by the time I'm 22, you got to have delayed gratification, right? You know, I came from the poorest of poorest in Glenville, but what I'm saying is I had delayed gratification. I knew where I needed to be, where I wanted to go, and what I need to do to get there. And so my thing is, you can't have this instant gratification. I know we poor. I know we want it. I know we want money, and we want to get on there and splurge and do all these things, but you got to have, okay, do I have it now? And then down the road, I don't have anything, or do I wait and discipline myself to obtain these things so that I can live the life that I want to live long term? And that's the question you have to answer. But college is necessary. And another thing that I like about college allows you to discover who you are. You know, my thing is, we don't get a chance, especially if you come from environments like we came from. You know, we've never had a chance to live and just be who we want to be, you know, and just grow and be planted somewhere, and just to live life and be a kid in an environment where you get educated and grow. And I think college is a place where you can find who you are and discover who you want to be. Oftentimes you can't find that if you where you are in that, you know, traumatic space where it's all about hustling and doing this and doing this now just to make $1. College gives you the opportunity to think. Some of your biggest millionaires today in the economy discovered their whole business model in college, working with other people, working with their friends. So I think that is a place for us to grow and become who we want to be.
And what's even crazier is a lot of them didn't even finish college.
They didn't. And once they found their business, they got up out of there.
Micah, how many, when you were going to school at UGA, how many of those football players were African American studies, physical science? I mean, not physical science. What is it, PE?
Yeah. Oh, I did one worse.
Oh no, they do general studies. They do general studies.
Nah, they did general studies, and some majored in housing. Whatever that means. It was a housing.
I went to school with guys like that. They came out and just told you, cause I'm here to play football. I majored in football.
Yeah, that's what they did. That's it, man. I tell you, the year Matthew Stafford, he got drafted #1 overall. We were sitting in man, what was the class? I think it was a business technology class. Either way, some news story came out on ESPN. Matthew Stafford projected #1 pick. He picked his book bag up, threw it on his back, jumped over the rail, and walked out of class. We didn't see him again until he was on ESPN.
But think about it. Their signing bonus, his signing bonus is more than some people making their whole career with a master's.
But a lot of them jokers, I know he probably not one of them, but half of those jokers,
he's not one, but
years after they leave the league, they broke.
Yeah, well, so you got to thanks a lot of people on that college team, so all of them not even getting drafted.
Yeah,
It's
easier to
some
become
who,
a doctor or a lawyer than it is an NFL player, bro.
Yeah.
yeah.
Guess what? I saw an interesting stat, and I can believe it because if you look at Glenville, some of your most prominent, well-to-do people are people in this profession. The profession with the most millionaires, you probably would never guess it. Who do y'all think it is?
Lord.
The profession with the most millionaires.
Lawyer.
School
Agriculture.
teacher. School teacher.
Yeah.
Teacher.
I wouldn't have thought that.
You wouldn't have thought it because you don't
never
think
thought that.
teachers make pretty decent, but what they do is a lot of those teachers knew how to do. They turn their money. I look at somebody like let's say Ethel Sellers and Mr. These folks. They live life, but they manage their money so well. Where they bought properties, they got rental houses. They did right by their money. They weren't trying to impress other people. They did right by with their money, and they invested. They got their retirement. You know, they did other things. And I can see that. And teachers make pretty good. People don't sleep on teachers now.
Well, now that you say that, looking back, I see it.
Yeah. I mean,
but you got to play the long game.
Yeah.
That's the problem right there, Micah. Long game. People, I don't think that our kids' generation, I don't know what they call themselves now, but I think it's hard to explain a kid that is 35 and younger to play the long game. When he sees Instagram millionaires, he sees people, how quick he goes to Atlanta, he sees how quick people are getting money. I think it's hard for you to sit down and say, look, man, get that paper in your hand, get this, learn how to manage your money in case something pop in your pocket, flip a house, flip 2 houses, flip 3 houses. No. See, they want to go out there and they want to be the CEO from the jump.
Yeah.
They want to be CEO at 21.
It's enticing. The guy that he just died. I don't know if I forgot his name. He was the basketball player. Didn't make much in the NBA. He started and became one of the biggest owners of Wendy's.
Yeah, I know
he died recently. Yeah, my thing is this man started and he left. He went and worked into Wendy's, learned the business from the ground up, and was a billionaire.
I think he only made like a couple $1 million in the
NBA. I don't even think he made that. If that,
yeah.
you might be right.
He definitely made more outside of it.
He made more outside, but see, like you said, Roger,
he was considered one of the richest basketball players.
Absolutely. But we don't understand this thing of delayed gratification. We want everything instant. And I understand it. Growing up how we grew up, you poor, never had anything. You want that fast money. But I'm trying to tell you, it ain't gonna last. It's gonna have you one or two places, the grave or the jail. And you got to have that long game mentality if you want to be successful.
Well, it's like Roger said, you got to surround yourself with a good village. Like, kids aren't going to know what they don't know until they know it. Yeah. And a lot of times it slaps them right in the face. Like my major, for instance, I'm a first generational grad in my family. No one could tell me what to major in, what occupations will help me make money. You know how I picked my degree? I remember Alfonso Thomas signed with Georgia Tech and he majored in business management. And I had that on the wall for years. So if I ever go to college, I'm gonna do what Alfonso did, and then that's how I chose my degree or my major. So a lot of that's gonna be on us now because we've been there, we've done that. Now we gotta navigate our kids through that and give them the options.
But that's why, as a father, you have to monitor what your kids are interested in and how well they're doing. I knew my oldest child from the get-go was gonna be great at math. I said, this kid's going to be an engineer. And now that's what he wants to be. I didn't say this is what you're going to major in. I just steered him in that direction. Like right now, he's a sophomore in high school. He's taking 5 AP courses right now. He's and 2 of those AP courses, AP Stats and AP Calculus, because he loves math. And it's a little challenging for him, but he's preparing himself for where he's trying to go. But I see that as a father to try to steer him in that direction.
It is. You got to teach them the long game, man. And what I did is also, you can't be a hypocrite either, Yeah. So what I did was I went. I got my stuff on the wall, And as I talk to my kids, I tell them where I messed up at. I said I was shit hot coming out of high school, I had people calling me, coming to lunch, having me do the little twirl, looking at me, going to free games. Me and Coach Thompson riding around Southeast Georgia, going to free games, and I blew it. I blew it because I didn't focus on the things that matter. Weight room, being a good person. I was an asshole in high school. You know what I'm saying? I picked what people would consider bullies, whatever. I was. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was an asshole. I didn't handle my popularity well. You know what I'm saying? What else? Oh, my grades were good. My SAT score sucked ass. My SAT score was so bad that the counselor called me in and said, What happened? She said your SAT score, yeah. She said your SAT score and your grades don't match. And I told her, I said, well, I answered the questions the best I could. She said, Did anybody talk to you before you took the SAT? I said, no. I signed up, walked in there and took it. I didn't prepare myself for the SAT. I didn't know anything about it. I answered every fucking question, even if I didn't know it. Didn't know that it's 1 point. If you miss it, it's 1/10 of a point if you skipped it.
Did you ever take the ACT?
No, I took the
SAT.
What
I'm saying, nobody prepared us for that. Even the coaches that were there, they didn't prepare us for that or steer us toward what we need to do to be equipped to even get a scholarship. So that, out of all those classes, bro, as good as our teams and records were, only me and Big Al signed scholarships to go to college for football. And we weren't nowhere near the best talent. We were at the top of the talent, but not the best.
What y'all got done, I can tell you where I messed up at. And I told my kids where I messed up at. And we focused on those particular items. And those items were work on your craft. Talent only gets you so far. You know what I'm saying? I've seen people that were less talented become a better player because they work harder. You know what I'm saying? My son right now, remember I told you 0 star? Go look at ESPN right now. He's a 4-star. Now, scroll down. Next time y'all got some time, scroll down. Go in there and look at him on ESPN and then scroll down. And look at the kids that he are ranked higher than. And look at their high school. They have their high school rank up there, and then they got their current transfer rank. All right. My son has 0, and then he's a 4-star. Then I looked at a kid that had a 4-star, and now he's a 3-star. And this kid was highly talented out of the state of Georgia. He was ahead of my kid. But my kid worked hard. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying the other kid didn't. But what I'm telling you is I had to establish that, because if he was anything like his daddy, he was out there chasing women. You know what I'm saying? That was my job. I just chased girls, worked at the club, chased girls, walked around the neighborhood. That was it. I didn't deserve a scholarship, Shannon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I definitely know you had the talent to do it. You, Donnell, even people like George Rogers could have played on the level I played on, or even higher. It's just surprising, all of that group of talent, only a few went on to play football at the next level. So now it's just good to see, like, your boys doing good. Edmund's son are doing good. My son hopefully will do the same thing, and Edmund, Micah's kid as well. So to me, I feel like the onus is definitely more on us now, because we've seen it, we know it, than what our parents knew. I used to be mad at my parents, like, how y'all get stuck in Glenville? But now I look at it and be like, they only knew what they knew at the time. So.
Hey, got to reach back, man. That's why I'm going to be here, Edmund, next 2 years. You know I'm going to be here.
Yeah.
Hot dog, your son, what, 8th grade, 7th grade?
7th grade.
7th grade. You know I'm going to be here. Hey, I'm going to tell you where I messed up at, what I did, what I avoided. One thing is I spent too much money. I spent entirely too much money, bro. And I would have spent more money, but I had people kind of help me out. You know what I'm saying? That remember that NCAA something? Y'all seen that? They ain't hit you up yet, Edmund?
Oh yeah, those different recruiting. Yeah, I see.
It's like
they be hitting me up. Talking about, yeah, they already,
don't
if
need
your
that.
child hitting certain numbers and stuff,
Yeah.
they already, I ain't spend no money with y'all.
Don't do it, bro. I spent $1,200.
I ain't doing that. Talking about we can get them recruited. I'm good.
$1,200.
I already know.
And you know what else
$1,200
is a gimmick, bro? Is those rankings. Like I found out people are paying publications for them rankings, man.
And do you know what else they pay? You ever seen them over talks where they go in there and they talk about, oh, this kid here is the nicest kid. Look at his jumper.
Yeah.
You know, parents pay for that.
Are you kidding me?
You know, me and Kelly was gonna start a service similar to that.
Yeah,
like
parents
10
pay
years
for that.
ago.
Parents pay for that. For you to sit there and clip some videos and then go over there like you a scout and tell these people and post it on Facebook. I'm telling you.
They said I was watching some guy. He said you the best recruiter for your child, to be quite honest, and their own social media.
Exactly. Boy, if we had social media back then, whoo, boy, Roger would have been the next Eric Dickerson coming up. Yeah, but man,
if there's still any parents out there willing to pay for somebody to hype their son up, I could come up with a fee right quick.
Bro, they doing it every day.
we could put it together, Michael. Me and Kelly drew out a blueprint about 10 years ago, and we're gonna call the company Sports Exposure Video, where we chop those clips and send them out to recruiters, and then we hype them up.
Does any of those kids on the Tatno basketball team this year, do they have any offers? They look, Michael.
The Macmillan kid, I believe, does. I'm not sure where though, and maybe a couple other ones, but I'm not sure all of them have basketball offers. I think some of them have track and football.
Okay, that's a great reminder. Mike, you think we can get Quayshawn
on? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he shouldn't be too busy right now.
Not at the moment. I know in May he getting ready for the basketball camp that he does every year.
Yeah.
And
that'd be a good segue to have him on to talk about it. Then
I'm trying to see if Shy gonna be here. We might make an appearance down there for that.
Oh man, that'll be cool.
That'll be dope.
I'm trying to see. I got to get the dates because Shy coming home. I think he's due to be home, but I don't know how long he's gonna be here. So I reached out to Quayshawn and told him that. So one of the things I made them boys promise when they were younger is they had to do a camp. Well, they didn't have to. I had to do a camp in my hometown. I'm to do a camp at my wife's hometown. And then I asked them to every place that they play sports, I asked them to do a camp there. And they agreed. Both of them, you know, Rayshawn and Shad, they both agreed. So right now it's just about them setting it up and getting it done. So, but May, I think that might be a window where we can get him in there.
All right, that'll work. Then definitely want to shine a light on them and put them up while we can, give them their flowers. But we were talking about fatherhood, and Roderick sent us this video to the group chat. I usually don't agree with this guy, but a broke clock is right twice a day, and sometimes he puts out some good stuff. So let's check out. This is Charleston White, internet entertainer. Let's see what he has to say.
Goes to the NFL, to the NBA. They make millions. Do they owe you? But you funded his basketball stuff growing up. You bought him his first basketball. You put him in these AAU basketball leagues. You're the reason why he's in the NBA. Does he owe you?
Your kids don't owe you for nothing, homie. Whatever you pour into your children, there's no return check on that. They don't owe you for that. They don't go up and do nothing for you. They don't owe you nothing. They didn't ask to come here. Your children are a result of your choice. They don't owe you nothing. You owe it to them to make sure they are better than you.
So Charleston White.
I agree.
Like I said, broke clocks right twice a day.
He have another good one on that I sent to y'all too. The one where he said how we destroying our community.
Yeah.
But then you'll find 10 more videos where he's acting a dumb and contradicts everything he just put up. So,
but no, I agree with him. You know, my thing is, you know, in the black community, we think when one makes it, we all make it. and we put that responsibility on the person that makes it out, and it's unfair. And my thing is, as a parent, like he said, I owe it to my child for them to be the best that they can be, because they didn't ask to be here. I should give them everything and not expect anything in return. And so that's how I look at this. I'm good, right? I got a good life for myself. I ain't rich or wealthy, but I do pretty good for myself. I don't need for them to take care of me, to make it to take care of me. And I think sometimes a lot of parents look at their kids as lottery tickets, and I just don't see that.
Yeah, and to me, it's an unnecessary
my wife
burden.
My wife had a
burden to put on those kids to have the responsibility to come back and take care of your parents. I'm like Charleston in the sentiment of, I want them to have a better life than me. I want to raise them to where they don't have to depend on me after they get grown and I'm old of age. I don't know if you guys saw it, but the LSU kid who got in a car accident, which was a hit and run, and ended up taking his life recently, either last night or
last night.
God bless the dead, sending prayers and healing energy to his family.
Yes.
But I'm sure all of that went through his mind of he's made it now, or hasn't estimated.
Hey,
the survivor's remorse.
Yeah, on some of these high school kids, and especially with the NILs and different things like that. One of my wife's co-workers came to her and said, "Well, Mama, you ain't got to work no more." All right, and she looked at him kind of confused and said, "That's my son's money. That ain't got nothing to do with us." You know what I'm saying? Somebody asked me that other day how I feel. Nothing. To be honest with you, I'm happy for him, but we kind of worked this into existence. We planned this. You know what I'm saying? You can sit down and talk with him. We planned this. I talked to him a year ago. I said, this is a big year. So when you get a big year and then these schools start calling, you know what I'm saying? You put yourself in a position for the next level.
And what I admire about you, Roger, is you prepared him for the opportunity and didn't wait for the opportunity, then try to get prepared for it. So like you say, y'all planned it, bro.
Yeah.
So
the same thing with Ray. Ray going through it right now. Superstar. You get what I'm saying? He had offers, but that wasn't what he wanted. Ray said he's a Division I player. Okay, boss. That's what you think. Okay, then you're gonna have to go out there and prove it. You can't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And he out there in JUCO grinding right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He next.
But that's why, hey, when you go to these little league games with my little one, I see it, man. You have folks out here fighting at games and putting all this pressure on their young kids and stuff. I said, man, that's those type of parents that are living through their kids, and their kids to them are their lottery tickets out of their environment. And that's just so
them parents who ain't made the team and got cut.
They want to live through their kids.
Yeah.
Hey,
right.
Y'all wait until they start talking trash about your kids.
Right.
I want to see
I
how
already
you react.
experienced that, bro. I remember Landon first started playing flag football. I didn't tell him the rules, how to play or nothing. And man, this Joe get out there and start pulling the flag of his own teammates. Why had to hide my face on the head? Now his parents in the back like, whose son is that?
I have sat in the stands and watched people badmouth my kid. I've watched a referee say, man, that kid good, but he can't shoot. I have watched them call my son a coon on TV, not on TV, but on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? After he turned the ball over against a team, told him he wasn't smart. You wait till you get in that level. And I want to talk. When it first happened to your kid, just give me a call. I don't care what time it is. And I want to see how you feel.
Yeah, well, I got a glimpse of it when my little cousin from Jessup was getting recruited. And man, you remember the old coach from Richmond Hill? Coach Jimmy Hires, I think is his name. But man, he was on the sideline laying into her because his daughter was coaching Wayne County. And he wouldn't say nothing about nobody but Taryn, which is my cousin. And when I tell you, man, he was calling her names. You need to get your A together, get your S together. ain't no recruiters gonna want you. And then I just found I couldn't take it no more. I just went and sat by him. I said, hey, I know you know me. I don't know if you remember me, but I played for Coach Hall. His whole demeanor changed. But other people still chirping in the back, calling the coons, calling the monkey, and all that kind of stuff. I like that ain't got nothing to do with basketball.
Yeah, but it happens, man. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I called my son today and asked him, did he see a write-up? So obviously he a new player coming into Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge has a big media platform, and so they got this guy that's basically breaking him down. So he spent the whole week breaking him down, every game aspect. And they do a lot of analytics, you know what I'm saying, which I don't agree with. That's why I tell y'all numbers lie all the time, because people too lazy to put the variables in them. You know what I'm saying?
Or don't watch the game, and there are other things that went into consideration.
If you go just straight up raw numbers, okay, but you got to put variables in there. You know what I'm saying?
You do.
Yeah. And they don't normally do that. They basically go out there and say, hey, he shot 50% from the free throw line. Well, he only shot 2 free throws.
Yeah. To me, numbers are only as good as the people use. It depends on the intent of the use of the numbers. That's when it
you know how I know that too, because one of my y'all been knowing this for a while. Justin Fields is one of my favorite football players, and that's what irks me about the national media when it comes to him. They don't take in consideration those variables that he had to deal with. I used to watch all of the Chicago games, watched all the Pittsburgh games, and they're coming and break down numbers. And I'm like, but you didn't see where his receivers were trash and they dropped many of the balls, especially in the 2-minute drill when he was trying to bring the team back and he was carrying the team on his back. He was the best player on the field. So I get what you're saying, Roderick. That's true. You can't just go by those stats. Those stats can be deceiving.
Well, when it's a person with a bad intent of the narrative, like they don't keep how many times the left tackle missed the pressure or the block.
Yeah.
How many times
I don't think it's bad intent. I just think it's the way they interpret numbers. A person goes up there, and especially basketball is a lot easier than football. But basketball, they go in there and then they'll sit down and they'll say this kid shot 35% from 3-point line, which is supposedly be pretty good. All right. So I'm looking at that. That means this kid shot 10 3-pointers, 11 3-pointers, and he made about 3. In the park, that would get you put on the bench, wouldn't it? But
we ain't picking you up the next game.
Yeah, analytics say that's good. You get what I'm saying?
But that's when if they leave out context around it. Like I feel like if you was a reporter, you would have to report stats, but you're gonna add the extra context.
They don't do that, man. I don't think they know it. They refer to these systems. They got these stat systems that
narrative, bro.
Track,
they do that to create a narrative.
Yeah, they got this. They call it Synergy or something. So Synergy, you can put the video on there, and Synergy will tell you, your percentages on where you shoot from catch and shoot to being wide open to having a person defend you. This thing breaks down everything. When I say everything, you know what I'm saying? It'll tell you how you play against the top 5 teams in your division, how you play against the top 5, the lower portion of the division, stats, all that. And then people read that, and then they take that as that's it. They kind of lazy. They do recruiting like that. In recruiting, they are doing that now. They don't even, most of these high school coaches are not even coming to the game. They go into these programs. They looking at these stats. They see a kid rush for 7 yards a carry. He's doing it against 6A. Boom. All right. Throw him a scholarship. Not even looking at him.
Yeah.
But most of the reporters now aren't really reporters or journalists. They are influencers and people trying to go viral. Right. So
absolutely,
it's easier to say they shot 35% than it is to break down all the analytics and actually have substance behind what you're saying, because they just want to have the next viral clip or the next. And it's not just sports; it's every level of journalism.
Man,
where people just want
politics to
sound
sport.
bites.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've become a content-driven society, so the controversy sells before the truth get out of bed.
Hey, you know what's funny? That I'm watching this guy break my son down, and I guarantee you, he don't even know how to dribble basketball.
Yeah.
Probably not.
I mean, that's the American way. Stephen A. critiques NBA players every day. Never even sniffed that level.
Nah,
But they gotta sit there and
he
listen to
did
it.
play at what?
Winston
North
Salem,
Carolina.
but he wasn't no NBA.
Winston-Salem. Yeah.
He wasn't no NBA talent. Not how he's critiquing.
Nah.
Yeah. But I got one more video to share with us, man. Now, if ladies are in the chat, I want y'all to chime in on this. And I think Roger, this is one you might have sent. See if I can pull it up.
Get the ladies. What I say about the ladies? It was good.
Well, he don't even know.
I don't.
Right.
Who sent this? Roger or Evan?
I don't know, but Dinkins, I hit you up.
I think I'm gonna look this pretty and I have kids.
I sent that.
Y'all think y'all the only one that's ever approached me and wanted to like be with me? No. I have 7 kids for a reason. I have 4 baby daddies for a reason.
Oh, heck.
You just don't get a pretty girl like this that don't have all these kids. I'm not asking you to take care of my kids. I said take care of me. In the video, I said get my nails done. I need a new oil change and stuff like that. I never said take care of my kids. I get $2,100 in food stamps. My kids not hungry. My kids have Medicaid insurance. They good.
Knock it off. Oh, you got to knock it off, sis. Wait, let me get something straight. I have to. 7 kids, 4 baby daddies, food stamps, and a partridge and a pantry. Was that a flex? There's a 4 baby daddy and a food stamp flex. I had that one.
Hey,
so was that a flex? Was it not the flex you thought it was?
Hey, let me tell you why it's a flex. Because who in the world gave that woman $2,100 in food stamps?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because I seen how they work those food stamp cases, and I'm trying to figure out how she got that much.
Yeah. On top of that, you think she care? You think she care about the price of eggs?
No, now she don't.
You think she care about the price of going to the emergency room?
Yeah, but she not operating in good faith. That $2,100 got to be coming from the trade-offs where she sell them stamps.
Yeah, you know it. She sell half of them stamps. She get about
$500.
$500.
That's about right. That's about right.
Bro. Oh,
that's about right, bro. $2,100 about right for 7 kids, though.
But see that
I don't know, man.
That's where I become a little bit more conservative. That's why we need to come down hard on some of these programs like that. There's no way in hell you should be getting all those food stamps for that period of time where you feel like that's a flex. That means you're comfortable, and that's where the system needs to change.
And she gonna have number 8. She gonna have.
Let's go back to the crux of her post.
No.
She's talking about asking people to get her nails done and put gas in the car and all that.
That's that ghetto mentality, but she ain't the only one.
Yeah. So, and then Roger, you was saying something about accountability in the chat. How do we hold them accountable?
Cut that junk off.
You got to cut it off, man. You know, I hate to say it, but you got to put limits. I believe in helping people that need the help, but I also know, and I know you know, there's folks out there that's abusing that system, and I don't care about you telling me Honda do it, Nike do it, yeah, I got you. But what I'm telling you right now is, to me, that's an issue because it's a mindset. You get what I'm saying? And when that mindset,
it's the American way. If you're doing it at Fortune 500 all the way down to her level, that's the American way. We got to get rid of the loopholes from the top to the bottom.
Oh no, I agree with you, but we all know a bunch of that girls right there that just was on that thing that feels it's okay, and they gonna game the system. But yeah, I just think that there needs to be balance there, because that's just like, in Atlanta, they started this program because what you see, even people that live in the projects, it becomes generational. I live in the projects. My sister live in the project. It just keep going on and on and on. And so they started putting limits on there. You had to go out and there were work requirements to this thing. And so, I believe in government being there to help the least of these, but you can't begin to look at it as a way of life and not just a helping hand for a period of time.
That's the thing. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. Those government programs shouldn't be there to help poverty evolve. It should be there to eliminate poverty, not help it evolve into whatever she talking about.
Hey.
So if you eliminate it, that means somebody might need like Roger saying, you might need a hand, some help crossing over. You might need.
Hey, you can't be having a what they call it, a home. What they do when they're home, when they you get a new home, they the party. What they call that?
Oh, the housewarming.
Housewarming.
You can't be doing housewarming when you move from 31C the 42D. You know what I'm saying? To me, that ain't no flex, bro. You know what I'm saying? And we do
a house party.
The grill in the same spot. Y'all just in a different apartment.
We are celebrating people getting other houses, like Section 8 houses.
Yeah.
I ain't saying be ashamed about it. I'm not saying that. But
no, I mean, I'm a beneficiary of some of these programs. Hell, I would be educated if it wasn't for Head Start, lived on food stamps, lived on Medicaid, and had many of these programs, but it's not supposed to be there for a permanent.
It's a supplement for the moment. Yeah,
hey, it's some women that I know that could not get on welfare, could not get food stamps because they work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's ridiculous. And I know some folks that's sitting on their ass right now, and guess what? They getting the ass of food stamps.
There's some legitimate working poor people that can't get nothing.
Yeah.
And that's unfair.
But now let me play devil's advocate. I hate doing it. She has 7 kids. If she was working and had to put all those kids in daycare, could she survive?
She could, because they have subsidies. They have subsidies for that. So if she was really committed to working, they will provide her child care to a certain point for all those kids. Because
but life about choices, bro.
But yeah, it's about choices. But yeah. I don't buy that, because I know they provide health care. Some of these folks, I know people right now, and I don't even been to call name, who will go to work for about a few weeks out the year so they can get an income tax check at the top of the year.
Yep.
They only go to work for 2 to 3 so they can draw a W-2 form, because it's more beneficial for you to get the earned income tax credit, because if you make below like $30-some thousand, you get like a few $1,000s for each child.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So there are loopholes in the systems at the bottom and at the top that we need to look at.
Yeah, across the board.
Hey, man, to me,
I hate the bottom gets demonized more than the top. When the top is taking 10 times as much money than the bottom.
Because it becomes relative. It's what you see. It's what you see, though. Because we see it every day. We see it when we go to Bobo's and you see people walking there with those food stamps and buying trays of crab legs and things like that. And so we see that. But people at the top see what they see too, where corporations are getting away with.
Yeah, but corporations are also contributing to the economy a lot more than that lady is.
But now it's not my bets. Like when they're supposed to contribute to the economy, they're supposed to help their employees.
They not
so a lot of them jokers doing self-preservation.
Hey, let me tell you something. They're not just giving money away. All right. Now let me tell you this. They're gonna continue to give this young girl $2,100. Because you know why? Because she's gonna take that $2,100.
She's gonna spend it.
She's gonna spend it at Walmart. She's gonna spend it at different places like that. That money, so she's contributing to the economy. But what I'm telling you is that don't compare her and the rest of the girls $1 million contribution to, let's say, Ford. You get what I'm saying?
I will, because here's the thing. Ford benefits from all this money we invest in infrastructure, and they don't pay no tax to refurbish it. right? So if you're driving on the trucks with these tractor trailers tearing up the interstate and all this other stuff, and you paying zero in tax, got a problem with that too. So I ain't one of these ones that say, I'm just going.
Yeah, but they employees. They employees. They
been employees, but those employees, but they're doing it on the backs of us who are paying taxes at a higher rate in the middle class. Because let me tell you what happens to us in the middle class. We get squeezed on both ends. We get squeezed by the people over here benefiting the system from the system, and we get squeezed over here because they're not paying their fair share at the top.
I got you. Remember them middle people I was telling y'all about, and y'all kept telling me about that trickle up economy and trickle down economy, and I told y'all that middle guy is the one that we need to be focused on. Let me tell you something. That we affect both ends. We can affect.
But even with that though, we gotta hold the top accountable though, Roger. Like for instance, AT&T and all them companies got emergency funds during COVID. Them jokers when it did stop buyback. The middle people who could have used the money were there.
Well, that should have been.
They could have bought Bobos up for 10 years. Without money,
they could have gave their employees a raise. Those are the middle people, right?
Unlimited crab legs.
No, so my thing is fair, right is right, wrong is wrong. I think it's at both ends, but I'm like Shannon on this point. We demonize the people at the bottom more so than the people at the top, and the people at the top is doing more damage, in my opinion, to the system than that person at Bobo's buying those crab legs using food stamps.
Yeah, what's the man that he started Operation Hope there in Atlanta?
John Hope
Bryant.
He's making the rounds on all the shows.
I've been following John Hope Bryant since I was a kid in high school. I never forget. I saw him on C-SPAN. I said, "Who is this guy?"
Man, he said I've been following him ever since. Yesterday, he said, "I need my rich friends, poor friends to do better, so my rich friends can stay rich." And that's what I've been trying to tell you, Roger. If the bottom half does better, the rich people who are doing well are going to be even richer.
I like what he said about DEI. You get if you want to get rid of DEI, you're going to be broke, especially in your company, because this economy is too. There's not enough white people to support these businesses at the rate they need to be supported at.
We never going to agree with that. What I believe is, if the middle class is doing well, I think that stretches up and that stretches down. That's my ideal. I think that the middle class donates more, they reach back into the community more, and I think that they spend more, which affects both ends of the spectrum. So I always believe that if you take care of the middle class, then I think everybody else will. Oh yeah, you're not gonna get no argument from me. I agree. The middle class is the backbone of America. Everybody knows that. That's why Joe Biden ran on, and believe it or not, that's what Kamala Harris ran on. But we also got to deal with the issue of poverty in this country, because if we want to get rid of crime, we want to get rid of all those. As Dr. King already said, riots and things of that nature are the voices of the unheard. When we neglect the poor, we get bad things that happen in our community. Everything we talked about just 2 minutes ago. What I'm saying is barriers too, though. But what I'm saying is, there ain't no barriers no more, man. When we look
at the stats, I know you don't want to hear the stats, but if blacks apply for loans at the same rate, same qualifications, all things being equal, but get approved at a much lesser rate than white, there's barriers.
Yeah, it's barriers.
I got what you're saying, but that's an option. That's one path. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going back.
Why do we have to normalize struggling? Why do we have to struggle and they don't?
Everybody struggle.
No, everybody. Because if they getting approved for the loan and we not, we got to find another option.
No, the issue you got is saying this is the problem with Democrats is you tell a white guy all the time that the only reason why you at where you at is because you white. You didn't take an accountability of his struggle, his family income, his family background.
No, so bro, right now I'm gonna
say this right now. Let me tell you this right here. Let me say this right here. And I'm gonna say this and I mean this.
And then y'all gonna let me finish.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna let you finish. Right. I have no sympathy to a certain degree. I'll say that. With how certain people struggle in this country, because you poor by choice. Many of us are not poor by choice. Because we were deprived of many of those things. Just some of our parents. What did you say? Most of us are first generation college graduates because of the neglect, because of the barriers that were put in place for our grandmothers, our mothers and fathers, that they had to go overboard. There was nothing holding poor white people back from getting education. There was nothing holding white people back saying in the 1950s and 60s, you couldn't partake in the GI Bill if you were a member of the military and fought in the war and benefit and buy a house, go to school, do those things. And you're poor because you didn't choose. Many of us are poor because we didn't choose it.
Okay. So now, again, let me tell you why I feel like that's an unfair assessment of what I was trying to say. So what I'm telling you is we attack white people all the time. And when they go through some struggle, every white person I know that I've met in life, and all of them haven't been rich and haven't been given a civil.
Absolutely. Go to Appalachia.
But what I'm telling you is that what the argument should be, despite your struggles, color has never been the reason why you didn't succeed. But we don't take that in advance. We don't tell them that. So this white dude is mad as hell at us because we don't understand his struggle, just like he don't understand our struggle. All right. And on top of that, when you talk about poverty and things that we didn't have, some of that stuff we have now. Do you understand that the military is undermanned right now? That'll get you that GI Bill right now. That'll get you that education, that GI Bill. That'll give you that retirement. That'll give you all that. But guess what? You know what the average YN will say right now? If I go to him and say, hey, man, won't you join the military? You know what he'll say? Man, fuck that. I ain't going to that shit. I ain't going out there and die for no white people. That's what the average YN will say right now. And we have to take that. Ain't no excuses for that.
Roger, what I would say here is that I don't think we don't understand the plight of them. I think we understand their plight. They don't think we understand their plight because they see something else other than, the plight that we're dealing with and the situation we're dealing with. They see our color. We don't. We understand what they're going through. We live it every day. That's why Lyndon Johnson said, now I love this quote, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than best colored man, he won't notice you picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on, and he will empty his pockets for you.
And I agree with you, and I understand that quote. But I also understand some of the best people that I've worked with, some of the people that helped get me where I'm at today, have not looked like me.
Absolutely, it's the same for me. Some of my favorite teachers. Some of my favorite teachers. Contrary to what they think in Glenville, just because we bring up the issue of race don't mean we don't like white people. I love. I hate South Side. I like them sometimes, but there are a lot of great white people out there. I just tell people I love the white people like John Brown. I love those type of white people that's gonna get in the fight and really.
I consider some white people of my friends closer to me than some of my black friends.
Absolutely.
Those same people went and voted for Trump. So that let me know, okay, you don't care about the community or how we come up with. And then what you're saying, Roger, is we go through barriers, bro. Like
we do.
There's no barriers.
Like, it ain't nothing gonna change about that. I don't care what y'all
say. My thing is, why are the disparities so glaring? Right now is the largest wealth transfer in history, where 60% of the 1% are transferring trillions and billions of dollars to their family right now.
And you know what's funny about that is our ancestors survived that and they didn't cry about it. You get what I'm saying? We sit down right now.
They didn't cry about it. They sung about it.
Yeah,
we shall overcome.
We living a whole lot better than our ancestors, and we got more tissue paper than I got on eyes than anybody.
But see, Roger, what we don't understand. See, I think we selling them short.
They survived, so why?
But my thing is, we selling them short. They fought for those DEI policies that these folks are trying to get rid of because they understood what they had to deal with. Without affirmative action, without quotas, without DEI policies in place, we wouldn't be where we are. The door access wouldn't have been open for us.
They made it there.
Roger, what does equality and equity look like to you?
I think it's a representation of being fair on your qualities. And what I'm not against DEI. What I'm telling you is, it's not the end of the world.
Excluding DEI, but what does equality and equity look like to you from a fairness?
From
like
a
you
merit.
said, brought up being fair.
Judge me on my merit.
We don't have no barriers.
Judge me on my merit. I didn't say not barriers. Everybody has barriers. What I'm telling you is we can't discredit everybody else's barriers and make our barriers more important. You get what I'm saying? You can't discredit everybody else's barriers.
Why we can't make ours more important?
No, what I'm telling you is that DEI went too far in some cases, where some qualified individuals that don't look like us.
Oh, DEI is a talking point. You didn't even hear about DEI before Trump said something about it.
First of all, I'm a educated black man. I knew about DEI.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying from the masses, how they're putting it out there.
What I'm telling you is when you go too far, you make people fight back.
But what is going too far? That's what I want.
Yeah, if it already existed, it
wasn't qualified, bro. Just like that vice president that that knew you weren't gonna win. She should have went through a primary. We should have.
But what about her wasn't qualified?
She was not even. She was not an elected official.
The GOP also says you're supposed to debate. Why didn't he debate? And we're talking about rules and policies and all of that.
All I'm telling you is from my perspective, and y'all know I've been like this from day one. I'm not a Kamala Harris fan. I didn't like her policies.
Wait.
You knew that. Hey, you knew that, right?
No. I'm not debating policies. No, I'm just saying
what I'm telling you
is wasn't.
Why did she get selected? She got selected for one reason only.
Why?
She got selected because she was a black female.
Okay.
She was a black female, and we thought that if we didn't go with Kamala, because she was naturally the next person in line being vice president.
Can I ask you a question?
That's the only reason why we selected.
Oh, wait. That's that same line of argument. Why was Joe Biden chosen to be Barack Obama's running mate?
Same thing.
Okay. Why was hold on? Why was Al Gore chosen to be Bill Clinton's president?
Now that I don't know. I don't know the history on that, but I know
he was a young sitting senator. Let me tell you something. I feel that's insulting to say that a vice president who was duly elected U.S. senator from California, the highest ranking attorney general in the country, or the second largest Department of Justice in the country, before she became a U.S. senator, was a sitting DA for many years. So for us to sit here and say she wasn't qualified, matter of fact, she was probably more qualified. Hold on. She was probably more qualified than anybody. No. I'm not talking about policy. I'm talking about qualification. I'm talking about qualification. Hey, I understand where you stand on Kamala. I understand. You can have that. I'm just talking about qualification because I feel like we shortchange our people and to sit up here and say somebody's a DEI candidate when these white folks be nominating and putting up people and nobody said anything, and nobody said anything about Barack Obama choosing Joe Biden. He chose the old white man because he said, I need to balance my ticket because I want to be elected president of the United States. And no one said anything
guess
about
what Joe Biden was? At the time, Joe Biden was a DEI hire.
Okay, so say that and preface that with all the other stuff. So don't just put she's a DEI.
I didn't.
Because
you didn't ask me about Biden.
No.
You asked me about Kamala, so I gave you the answer.
But back up. But how do we get here, Rob?
What I'm telling you is, if she was in line with all the running Democrats this year, would she have won? No.
Oh, let me tell you something. See,
it's a popularity contest.
Hold on.
Who's most popular?
No.
Who's most popular?
I can take you to a poll. See, I ain't going with all the emotionalism. I'm not gonna go with all the emotionalism. I can take you to a poll a few weeks before Biden even dropped out. You know who was the leading contender to win the nomination? Kamala Harris. And let me tell you why. Because black women and black men, contrary to what they say out there, control the Democratic primary. That's the reason why right now I'm laughing at all these folks that they putting out now talking about candidates. If you can't win the black vote, you're not going to win the nomination.
And that's what y'all
white,
told
black,
me.
and different.
That's what y'all told me about the governor in Georgia too.
Hold on. Why did Joe Biden become the nominee in 2000?
Because they needed to get back to a moderate.
No. Why did he become? No. Well, why did he become?
Probably because they wanted to get some of these white votes.
Jim Clyburn came out and endorsed him, and the black folks followed. And so the SEC primary, Biden racked up and went to the nomination.
So where was James Clyburn?
What happened to Obama in 2008? I was working on the Obama campaign then.
Where was James Clyburn this year?
Once he won Iowa, even John Lewis, who endorsed Hillary Clinton, came back and said, "We can't stop this train." Once black folks saw white people vote for him,
you truly believe that Kamala was the best thing that we had this year?
Absolutely. Nobody else would have came as close as she did funny? In 105 days.
I think Biden would have beat Trump if he
hold on. Now let me go back here. Anybody go back to any of my feeds on social media? What was my position before Biden dropped out? Biden need to stay in the race because that is too late for a candidate to get out. Now I said if he got out, she better be the nominee, and it was beneficial because everybody else would have had to start from scratch. And 105 days wasn't enough time to raise money, put in place the infrastructure, and run a campaign.
Can we agree on this? She was only selected because she was the vice president.
Yes.
She was an African-American female. They wanted to secure that vote. Let's say that she was the only reason why they put her up for president this year? Can you agree? At least agree on that.
No. What about
that was the obvious choice to take.
And then when you peel back the onion, what else is there?
There was nobody else to step in and do what she did.
Hey, don't act like she didn't run for president, bro. We never nominated her. Don't act like this perfect candidate was somebody that we chose in the past.
Let me tell you, now you're getting in my territory. Okay, so let me go back to even her candidacy when she ran for president in 2002. She dropped out before the Iowa caucuses. There was never a lane or oxygen for her or Cory Booker, who ran that year to run. Joe Biden was already crowding them out, right?
I got you.
You had Bernie Sanders. You had Bernie Sanders, and then you had everybody else.
Who did you
vote for? Everybody else.
In the primary, who did you vote for? Yeah,
in the primary, she was my candidate of choice from the very beginning.
Shannon, who did you vote for?
And then I ended up voting for Biden because Biden was the only person on the ballot.
I voted for
Biden. No, I'm talking about before everything got even out, before the South Carolina primaries. Tell me who.
Initially I was with her. I was with Kamala.
You was with Kamala. Okay, who you was with, Michael?
I honestly don't remember.
Well, before you go further,
that's 50% right now.
Let me ask you this, and Edmund and Michael, y'all are the politicians. From a president standpoint, what is the number one reason you select a vice president?
To be somebody to step in for when if something
from day one, if something happens to you, right?
But that's the reason. Okay, so you truly gonna tell me and sit here and tell me that's why she got chosen?
That wasn't the only reason.
That wasn't the only reason, but that's the main reason.
She had to meet the threshold to be qualified, right?
Exactly.
Hold on. This man just got up there and went from a 10 decibel to a 14 to make his point that she got picked, or the vice president gets picked for being ready for day one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just asked you that same question. Was Kamala picked to be ready for day one?
Absolutely.
And y'all go to bumbling in the stomach.
That's the first reason.
No.
Because she's black and a woman don't mean you gonna pick her because of that. That means you saying she wasn't qualified. You said she wasn't qualified. You just said those are the only reasons.
Qualified for the presidency.
Two things can be true at the same time. Is she qualified?
Exactly.
We checked that box off. She was qualified. Was she chosen because of her demographics? True. She was chosen because he wanted a balanced ticket. He knew that he could carry white people and certain demographics. He needed somebody else to carry some of the other people that he wanted to win in the election to get them excited about it.
In this position, she was qualified to be the vice president for that particular reason.
Yeah,
I got it.
Absolutely.
Now,
the reason why I say she was qualified too, Roger, is because I look at her track record. No. I look at her track record. And no, I look at her track record.
Come on, Slick,
her track record.
You've always been a fan.
Who? But
Hey,
I became a fan.
Slick,
I
take the
became
names
a
off.
fan. I
Take the
became a
demographics
fan based upon her policies. I started following her in 2004.
Fan.
Because of policy. Her back on track policy became a blueprint for the nation.
Ain't nothing wrong with saying I'm a fan of her.
No. Let me tell you
good
something.
Judge of character.
Yeah, let me tell you. And then we followed her there. But when she was in the Senate, she was on the Judiciary Committee. She was on the Foreign Relations Committee. So she has foreign policy credentials. She has legal credentials. So she's been an executive at the state level.
So why didn't she beat Biden the first time?
Oh, why she didn't beat Biden? I was getting to that, but y'all cut me off.
Go ahead.
There was a lane. You had the Bernie Sanders extreme liberal wing of the party, which many of us would not line up with that and did not want that. Then you had the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker wing of the party. Joe Biden had a stronghold because many black folk, especially in the South, had an allegiance to Joe Biden because what? He was the first black president of the United States, vice president. Then he wasn't getting traction. Then Kamala came and she whacked him in the first debate and kind of got traction, but everything even back out and they couldn't get any voice. So when Bernie Sanders became the standard bearer, that's when there was some internal discussions, and that's when people decided, look, we got to stop Bernie. That's when everybody, even the black politicians, start coalescing around Biden. And then James Clyburn came out, Kamala came out, then I had a conversation with her. She dropped out the race, and then Cory followed suit, and then Biden, everybody coalesced around Biden, and Biden got the nomination. And all the black people went and started supporting Biden from that point on, and he went on to win the presidency.
So every check
that's how it happened. It's just politics.
And for every check mark you gave Kamala, I'm gonna give it to Cory Booker. Every check mark that you just gave Kamala qualification.
Okay,
can we agree on that?
What you say now? Say that again.
Every check mark that you gave Kamala, qualification check mark. Can we say that Cory Booker made that same check?
Nope.
Why? Why not?
Cory Booker was the mayor. He was the mayor of Newark.
Yep, he was the executive. You know what I'm saying? That means he's running the show.
Yeah.
All right. That's one qualification. All right. Next, he's a senator. All right. So tell me why Kamala is more qualified than he was.
Well, if you look at experience, what was bigger? Being the Attorney General of California or being the mayor of Newark, New Jersey?
It depends on how you look at it. I think I like an executive.
What you think? Attorney General is an executive.
Attorney General does one specific item. They are controlling one thing. When you are a mayor, your window is bigger than that.
Your window might not even be the size of her house.
City, bro. Newark is millions of people. And the economy is
Have you seen the size of California?
I got you. She was an attorney general. Attorney general. Okay. First of all, let me tell you this here. The mayor of Angeles or the governor of Los Angeles, California has a different role than, let's say, the attorney general. Attorney general can focus on one particular item. They don't have to focus on a lot of stuff that is.
It's a lot of legal issues and things come before the attorney general, and they oversee a lot of staff. Way more staff.
Don't do that. The governor don't get into legal issues. The governor don't go in there and have to talk to the attorney general and say, "Hey, this is what I want to focus on."
But we talking about management.
We talking about the mayor. We talking about the mayor.
This guy was also a senator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But what I'm telling you is, what you're trying to make us
he probably the difference between me and you. I ain't gonna say what y'all be saying to me. Oh, y'all going against a black man. That black man was qualified. You ain't do it.
No, but what I'm saying is it could have been okay. Let's use your premise. Let's just say Joe Biden decided that I'd rather have Kamala on my ticket because I feel more synergy with her than I do with Cory.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, the false narrative is that you got to win black women and black women will carry you through election. That was the narrative back then. That's the narrative now.
What does the data say? What does the data say? If it's a narrative, what does the data say?
We lost.
No, you saying you carried through election. What did the data say?
That's what they saying. But you know what? You told me that. You told me that the data was gonna tell me that told you that we were gonna win. You know what the data told us also? That we was gonna have a black female governor for the state of Georgia. That's what the data told us.
No, did it work? I don't think the data ever said that in Georgia.
Yeah,
common sense ain't say that in Georgia.
Yep, the first gonna be a close race. First loss, the second one, oh Lord, they coming in. It's gonna be a blue wave. You know, we done won 2 senator seats. No, we good, bro.
No, see, my thing is the data always told us that it was gonna be a close election. But if you look at the data, right? If we talking about data, Kamala didn't lose
some of this stuff we talked about.
Hold on, let me say this right. Kamala, if Kamala would have drew the same number of votes that Biden drew in 2001, even though Trump increased his share slightly, she would be president right now. A lot of people stayed home because people
drew that much.
But people stayed home this time around. They didn't vote for Trump and they didn't vote for Kamala. They stayed home, and then there were a whole lot things going on at the same time. You had a lot of people in Michigan, especially the Palestinian Americans, who said they were going to issue a protest vote, and some of those votes, that affected the vote in Michigan and so on and so forth. So there are a multitude of things that went on, but I'm not saying she ran a perfect campaign by far. No, I felt like there were things that it could have done differently. I'm not getting, that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. But just to say that she's just
what did she do as vice president? She was quiet for 3 years. She was quiet for 3 years.
Yes, see, that's another lie. That's another lie. If you paid attention to everything she did, who cast more tie-breaking votes? Who cast more tie-breaking votes in the Senate as vice president?
I get that. And that comes from that. Don't act like that was a hard job.
No. What I'm saying is, everybody asked where she was, but that was big. That was part of the problem. She couldn't get out of DC. She couldn't go far because she was had to cast votes for nominations, appointments, and actually big legislation. No,
who brokered the Golden Triangle? Who brokered the Golden Triangle deal?
I have no idea.
You don't even know what that is, do you?
Absolutely. This lady was working in major.
She brought it up. Explain it. Educated brother. So I'm seeking knowledge.
The Golden Triangle deal. You know how they were talking about the border crisis. Instead of going to see what the root cause of the border crisis was, they were talking about putting stuff at the border and all this extra security and walls and all that. What she did was went to the Golden Triangle, the South American countries.
Okay, tell me what your vice president did and did not even go down there to see what the problem was.
She went over the border, bro.
No, she didn't. Go back and look at your records. She did not go.
Okay.
She broke the Golden Triangle deal.
Roger.
You don't even know what the Golden Triangle deal is, do you?
But after you educated me, I know now. And I know
you ain't let me finish.
Okay.
She went to those South American countries, the 3 major countries down there. It's documented, bro.
I know it is.
She went on delegation and broker deals.
Broker deals, $5.1 billion, bro.
Show me when her ass went down there. It's Google.
Say what?
Show me.
No, see, this is the problem I have.
You off the chat.
Hold on, wait. Let's all comment. This is the problem I have with this debate about the board is because we allow Republicans and right-wing media to dictate how we have this conversation, right? So the Fox News and everybody else, where's Kamala? Why she ain't at the border? First of all, you don't dictate who goes to the border. You don't dictate who goes to the border.
Randall talking about you on here acting like Black MAGA.
Right.
No, because
you don't dictate. Hold on. Let me finish this. You don't dictate who goes to the border. First of all, she was a border state attorney general who prosecuted. Who prosecuted
No, you can't use.
Hold on, wait. I'll let you talk. She prosecuted transnational gang members. She knows of anybody the border issue. No,
I know her history, bro.
But here's the thing. We allow the right wing.
Argument.
Hold on.
The argument was
the right wing to dictate.
You can sit there. I can read her resume. I don't need you to regurgitate her resume.
I ain't not regurgitating her resume.
The argument was, the argument was, this man challenged me because I know a triangle, one portion that he tried to convince the world that Kamala did this. And I said, after he explained it and educated me what it was, I said, how did she be a big impact if her ass didn't go?
Here your ass go right here.
I didn't ask that. I said, how can you?
You just asked what she did about the border, whether she went to the border or over the border.
You told me about the triangle. You tried to be a smart ass and you told me about the triangle. All right. I told you I did not know about it. I didn't go to Google real quick and read up on it.
If you follow it, you would have saw.
And if you're gonna use that as her major policy,
you asked. First of all, you asked what did she do?
I asked you. I said, what did you do?
And I told you.
You said you didn't know. You started talking shit. Let's be honest.
No, you said you didn't know about the Golden Triangle.
And you said, I told you I didn't know. You don't even know. You don't even know. You start talking shit. You know I ain't taking that shit. I'm gonna fight back.
You know, first of all, you asked what did she do, but immediately say I don't know. That means you didn't look for what she did.
I said I didn't know about that particular program.
That means you didn't look.
I didn't have to.
So if they don't tell you what they did, you don't look, then they didn't do
I didn't know about that. I told you I didn't know about that.
So why you ask what she didn't do then? What did she do?
You what? I said explain it to me.
Okay, can I go through a few things? Can I go through a few things? I can't allow you to tarnish the lady's reputation and name. So, okay, Shannon's already highlighted that she generated more than $5.2 billion since 2001 by 50 companies and organizations that have committed to supporting economic growth, because they said it's one thing to talk about the border and talk about everybody's crashing the border trying to come to the country. Let's go attack the root cause. Why are these people trying to come here? Economic desperation. These people need jobs, opportunities. So let's get investments in these countries so these people want to stay in their homeland. So that's what that $5.2 billion investments and commitments was for.
Gotcha.
Second, voting rights. Voting rights. Harris was at the forefront of the administration pursuit to enhance voting rights. We're not talking about that. Hold on. I'm just talking about what I'm saying is what you asked what she's done. So I'm just gonna go through her record of what she did as vice president, since people want to be blind like Stevie Wonder to what she's accomplished and what she's done.
Right? If you're counting the vote, if you're counting what she did as a voter, then I don't want to hear it, because to me, I told you that was easy.
Was it as a voter?
She was a part of policy initiatives too, bro.
No, what I'm telling you is, if she was breaking ties, the vice president, that is not a hard job.
No. I ain't talking about just breaking ties. I'm talking about policy formulation of things she did. She was at the forefront of the John Lewis, even as a senator. Her and Cord was the proponents of the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. She's the one that carried the word around the George Floyd policing act. So what I'm saying is, a lot of that stuff came with her to the White House. So gun violence. She was at the forefront. She was at the forefront.
She did this as a senator.
As a senator and vice president. As vice president.
I asked you. I told you. I asked you, what did she do for the 4 years? First 3 years, she was quiet. That's what I said.
But how do you quantify quiet? Because she wasn't.
Yeah.
I watched every move she made. She was never quiet. Okay. See, you only go off of what the media shows you. But if you were watching the media, understood that she was always out.
What do you go by?
Dick Cheney was quiet till he shot that dude in the face.
Don't insult my intelligence.
Who's the biggest person? Who is the biggest person out there fighting for small businesses in this administration, doing town hall forums, promoting, in
the first 3 years,
new legislations in the first 3 years? Yes, in the first 3 years. I didn't
see her do that. I'm gonna have to go back and do my research.
That's what I'm saying, because you didn't see her. That
who was promoting promoting maternal health?
I know you're not the only motherfucker that sit there and watch goddamn news and get educated. What I'm telling you is, if I didn't see it, then that means she probably didn't do it, or she didn't do.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
That
is the problem.
Exactly
That is the
you
problem
didn't
because
it didn't happen.
Exactly.
Well, I can't go off that. If I base everything that somebody's doing off what I don't see, then a lot of people would be doing anything.
Exactly.
Hey, all I know is I read the news every day. I watch hours of CNN. I watch hours of Fox News.
But
and I have not heard of some of the things that y'all said.
I do.
And we'll end it on this right here. This is a question I have for you, Roderick.
Go ahead.
When have we worried, first of all, about what?
If it's a black and white issue, I want to hear it.
No.
Right.
When have we ever worried about the job of the vice president?
Haven't.
Exactly. So why we put all this undue pressure on this woman who rise to vice president?
When her fans put that in the conversation.
I don't think they did. The right put that in the conversation.
Exactly.
The Fox News put that in the conversation.
Exactly.
I
can't tell you one thing JD Vance done doing right now.
I don't give a fuck about JD Vance.
Mr. Irrelevant.
The only thing we know about.
If I disagree with y'all, you don't tell me.
Right? That's the only thing we ever know. What do we know? What do we know about Dan Quayle? He spelled potato wrong.
Hey, so let me tell you this. So let me tell you what. Y'all motherfuckers done called me a MAGA tonight.
No, not
that was the comment section.
He did.
That was the comments.
Yeah, hey, you insulted my intelligence because I didn't know about the triangle. You get what I'm saying? Hey, no, because trust me, bro. I read people and I understand folks, and folks say things that I pick up on that I sometimes I comment on and sometimes I don't. You get what I'm saying? I've heard all
the premise of it though, Roger.
But the problem is,
where did the question come from?
I didn't forgot where we started at.
I just told her what did she do as VP for 4 years?
I told no.
Why even ask that?
No, let me tell you where the conversation came. The conversation came when I said that she was not qualified to run for president. All right, that's when Edmund came in and gave me her resume. I'm not saying that she does not check the boxes to run for president. I'm saying at the time she should have went back, ran a primary. Y'all said 100 days. Then we should have left Biden ass in there. All right, 100 days. That's what she had to sell the country. It did not happen. You got it. What I'm telling you is that I'm not a big fan of hers. That's just it. It has nothing to do with her being a black woman, white woman, green woman, or whatever. I support all my people. You get what I'm saying? But I'm not going to support you just because you look like me.
Right. But when you say a fan, that makes me think it's a popularity contest.
Edmund's a fan. Edmund is past that. You cannot say nothing,
man.
You cannot say nothing about Kamala.
It's one thing to say she's not. It's one thing to say she's not qualified.
He's the MAGA version. He's the MAGA version. No. As it is for Kamala.
So you don't think calling him? So you don't think calling him a fan is insulting his intelligence though? Because he did.
But see, here's the thing. The reason 9 times out of 10, I'm not saying you one of these people, Roderick. 9 times out of 10, when I ask people why they don't like Kamala Harris, they can't give me a legitimate reason, policy related, or it's a lie. Wait. Can I finish? If they do bring up a policy issue why they don't support her, it's a lie. It's not based in facts because I have debunked so many people about her record. So if you want to call me a fan because I supported this lady based upon what I've seen her do and what I've seen her accomplish, this is before she even hit the national TV as a national candidate for anything. I just start following her early on. And guess what? Guess who else was a fan? Karl Rove, because they said, look, this is the next Barack Obama. If we don't stop her, she's going to be president of the United States. And they said that back in like 2008. And I could pull up the article and show it to you. So what I'm saying is I've been following these people. I'll never forget because I used to watch the State of the Black Community with Tavis Smiley host every year. And when I saw the lady there, I said, that's a star in the making. And that's when I became a supporter of hers and what she was doing around the country, and many DAs followed her model. And so, you know, of course, when you put yourself out for national office and when the right sees you as a threat, they're going to throw everything at you. And a lot of the talking points that they use against her to try to taint her reputation, I hear many people use now against why they don't like her. And so that's the only thing I'm saying. So if you call me a fan, I'll be a fan. I'll wear it. But I support her based upon policy, based upon her credentials, based upon who she is. Okay.
Okay. I got you. How many presidents we have that were attorney generals?
Let me see.
Y'all use this as a qualification, so it should be several presidents that were prior attorney generals.
The better question would be how many presidents worked in public office?
Yeah. But she was not only attorney general, she was a U.S. senator. So, you know, that too is a part of her credentials as well. I don't think I think there might have been one or two.
You talk more about her being attorney general than you do about her being a senator.
Oh, senator. I mean, she was dead on it. I could go over her record over and over as a senator.
All I'm doing is you making a point and I'm attacking that point.
No, what I'm saying is, so as attorney general, she was DA as well. That's why I became a fan when she was a DA. Okay. But she became attorney general next.
It sounds like presidential qualifications are really all over the place because our current president has none.
Zero. Zero.
I ain't vote for him.
Right, but we ain't questioning why he the president.
I always question why he's president. I think people retarded that voted for him. But that's just me. You know what I'm saying? So I go from there. So, but it is what it is. He in there. What I'm telling you is that I made a comment. Y'all made comments defending y'all point. I came back and I said, I asked you questions. You can't get mad if that narrative don't fit what you're trying to say. I'm a voter. You get what I'm saying? My vote count just like yours do.
But see, you know, you're right, and I'm not negating that. It's just the same thing. You know what I saw with Hillary Clinton. It's to me with women in general, there's a double standard for them because some of the same things that I saw Republicans tarnish Hillary with in the 90s. Now I see many people that are mainstream Democrats criticizing her for the same thing. And it's just the right wing. One thing I do respect about them, they got a media echo chamber where they drive the narrative and we take on their narrative about even our politicians. And that's the only thing I'm saying.
I always say that they hijack the narrative and they control it and they just run with it. We run with it.
The governor of Michigan is one of the leading candidates for the next president.
She's not going to win.
She qualified?
She is qualified. Yeah, she qualified. Yeah.
No, let's put everything in perspective. Her being a woman, remember, all this got to be an account. I'm not talking about your resume. I'm talking about, are you going to make it?
Beauty contest?
It is. That's why you think Trump in office. You think they voted for him because of his education?
We should throw all qualifications out the door. We just pick for who's popular.
We might as well.
Yeah, I don't think it's about qualifications at this point. I think it's about.
But see what y'all got to understand. Trump is a anomaly. Like you gonna have. I don't know if he's. I don't think you're gonna have another Trump. That's why JD Vance. They're not gonna have the same clout as Trump.
The next Trump in Florida.
No.
The sanctimonious.
We
already saw on a local level he can't do what Trump does. A lot of them can't do. He tried to run for president. You can't beat Trump being Trump. Trump is Trump. Like Trump's gonna get away with it. It's just like Obama.
I can copy him. And that's what he's
doing. A lot of them are copying him, but they're still not getting the traction that he gets. Trump is like one of those
down there in Florida right now. He established a Doge down there in Florida. He's doing the same thing.
But see, let me tell y'all something about this right here where we are. Everybody's losing heart, right? We experienced the same exact situation in 2004. This is what happens when you're a student of politics, right? In 2004, after George Bush won re-election, everybody said, woe is the Democrats. The Democrats might as well fold their chairs and go home. They're done. George Bush going to put a nail in their coffin Because how can you lose to a man that invaded Iraq and Afghanistan? The war is a mess, the country's a mess, and he still beat John Kerry and eked out of it. I heard all of this. And 2 years later, the Democrats won control of Congress. And 2 years later after that, who became president? Barack Hussein Obama. So y'all, the pendulum always swing one way, it's gonna swing back the other way. That's why I'm not losing hope. We've been here before, and everybody like, oh, this gonna happen. Oh, this is bad. We need to do an autopsy. And that's how Howard Dean became the party chair after that, because you remember he ran in that 24 campaign, lost with the screen, and became the party chair and said, we're going to run a 50-state strategy, rebuilt the Democratic Party, and lo and behold, look where we ended up 2 to 4 years later. So even right now, the Democrats, let me tell you something. When you start looking at races where in Florida, where Trump districts went 30 plus votes, and then they only win about less than 10 points, when you winning Republican seats in other territories, let me tell you something. See, people play with fire, and then once they burn themselves and they realize, oh, this is really business, this is hot. And so I say that to say this right here. We don't know who the nominee is going to be. No one expected. Everybody thought Hillary Clinton was going to be the nominee. She was a shoo-in to win that nomination in 2008 because she was primed and ready to go. Obama came by Harry Reid. Some of them not going to say, I think you got lightning in the bottle. You need to run. He ran, and look what we got. There's a lot of candidates on the bench that Democrats can turn to. And I said, don't sleep. And I can hear it here first. Don't sleep on Wes Moore out of Maryland, the governor of Maryland. Do not sleep on the cat. And I'll leave it at that, because like I said, I go to the mat on this. You cannot win the Democratic primary without black voters. This is a sitting governor, an African American man, a veteran, a military veteran, a charismatic leader, a man's man. I hate to say it like that because I ain't being sexist or anything. He has everything you need to run a campaign to win the nomination and beat whoever the Republicans put up.
If we don't come back to the center, it don't matter who we nominate.
But see, that's relative. I'll be quite honest. That's relative. When you
I don't know if that center exists.
Yeah,
I just don't know that center exists.
Yeah, that's relative.
And that's the problem. I think that we and again, the reason why I left the Democratic Party. When I say I left, that means I am open to vote for whoever I want to right now. All right. And that means I don't care if that joker got an R, an I, or a D beside his name. I'm voting for the best interest of the middle class voter.
Well, you're not gonna get a candidate in the middle of the road per se as what we used to think a middle of the road candidate is going to be. You may get a candidate that language may change as far as but as far as policies and things like that,
progressivism.
It's gonna be progressive. Because if you look at
I would say the middle actually cost Biden some of his accomplishment. If the first infrastructure bill,
race. Honestly, that's what caused Kamala the race. If you really want to be honest about it, she was so busy trying to chase the middle with Liz Cheney when she should have went to the black community and shored up her vote in places that needed to come out and vote.
If Sinema and Manchin wasn't in the middle when they tried to pass the first infrastructure bill, the incumbent party probably went going away with it.
I'm gonna have to do it.
Hey, they would have got the George Floyd policing passed. They would have got women's reproductive rights passed.
Voting rights.
They would have got all that passed, and you wouldn't hear all this crying that the Democrats ain't do nothing, so I ain't coming out to vote. That's part of the problem.
Part of the problem is the Democrats went too far.
What is too far though?
I'm not gonna do it because I need a job. You know what I'm saying? But we went too far. All right. And then we got to peel back. We got to go back more central. That's where I'm at.
The one thing I can say, the silver lining about Trump, I don't want to hear nothing about what a president can and can't do anymore, what a party can and can't do anymore. He shattered those ceilings, no?
Roger, I was able to pull up some data, when all else failed to research. So Martin
you don't want to hear no data, right?
Martin Van Buren was a New York Attorney General. Franklin Pierce was U.S. Attorney General of New Hampshire. Abraham Lincoln was a prosecutor in Illinois. Bill Clinton was Arkansas Attorney General. Grover Cleveland, Assistant District Attorney of Erie County, New York. And Richard Nixon worked in
All right. What?
administration. So those are a few of the presidents that were attorney generals or worked as.
So we had one modern president that was attorney general at one time in his career.
Well, you could say Richard Nixon is considered modern as well. So
okay, I'll give him that. We'll go back to the 70s.
All right.
So two. Give you two.
Now you know, bro.
But no, my point always gonna exist. It's more executive leaders as president than it is attorney general. So the next time, fan, and y'all want to justify
he can insult me. He can insult me, but I can't.
No, I take y'all insults. I take them. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't an insult though, but it's just logic. Like,
right.
Logic would have had her ass as the president. Logic
wouldn't have me asking what she did.
Because your computer told you that. Your computer and your numbers told you that.
Logic wouldn't have me asking what did she do as VP.
I did. I taxed you what she did. To me, she didn't do
nothing. Logic wouldn't have me asking that.
It's not
Logic would have me go looking up what she did before I asked what she did.
First of all, we in a live thing, right? And I'm gonna tell you right now, as smart as I am, I don't know everything. We in a live debate. I could have easily went and Googled it, but I asked
right now wasn't the time to Google it. November before the 4th was the time to Google it. Though she did all those things before the 4th.
I'm telling you,
I know you didn't just vote for her because she's better than Trump.
I voted for her because she was the alternative to Trump.
Right, but we all voted for her because of that, and we went and looked at what she did.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling you, I wasn't.
And since you brought that up, most of us always. How many times black people voted for people we didn't really prefer or wanted? We've always done that.
Oh yeah.
We've always done that.
That's true.
I don't like the lady.
You should have said that from the get-go instead of saying
absolutely.
I will accept that.
Did I not tell you?
I didn't. You never told us that you didn't like her.
No,
I didn't know why you.
I just said it like that. I told you that I'm not a fan of her.
Yeah.
Didn't I tell you that?
You did, but we never understood why. But you say you're not a fan.
I told you a lot of things that I didn't like about her. I didn't like how she ran the attorney general. I did not like it. Y'all argue with me. It didn't change my mind. When she became vice president, I thought she was too quiet.
Why didn't you like her?
She didn't get involved. You know what I'm saying? I thought some of the stuff that came out of the Democratic Party in the last 4 years, things that I did not have concerns about. I don't care about the infrastructure bill. All right. That's not a major plan for me. All right. Didn't help me out not one bit. Y'all told me I was selfish. All right. Hot Dog basically said I was selfish because I should want the lower class to subscribe because it will help me in the future.
Let me ask you this: our lower class
infrastructure bill though wasn't just about the lower class, because during that time I was in local government and it helped us do a lot of stuff.
Okay,
and it helped the lower class, the middle class,
and it helped. Yeah, it helped us accomplish some things that we wouldn't have been able to do under normal circumstances.
So, give me an example, Mike.
Repairing pipes and
yeah, literally everything, replacing old lead water lines. The city roads and stuff like that. So fixing up our infrastructure, the wastewater treatment plant, doing necessary and needed upgrades to that.
So in general, I should be happy because they replaced some stuff that I use.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
But let me ask you this, bro. You don't live in your, when I say helping the lower class, I'm speaking of community, because you don't live in a community of everybody like you. It's lower class, middle class, and upper class. So when you help the whole community, whatever that benefit is, it's going to benefit everybody.
But you try to say that the government should be focused on that. And I told them to focus, skipped me. And I had an issue with that.
But when you said that, I never really understood what you were talking about. Like, what did you want the government to do for you specifically?
Well,
that only impact to you
I'm telling you is that I'm toting the water and everybody else is drinking. and then I get a cup and I should be happy about it. That's exactly what y'all saying. Middle class.
I would say there are a lot of people that match your demographics, match your experience, your salary range, all of that. They toting the water and don't care about helping other people. Some care about helping other people. So I'm just saying you're in a community, not just you by yourself. So a lot of stuff you won't see directly, but you may benefit from it indirectly.
So what I guess the disconnect is that every year I hear people talk. Every policy that I see get passed, spoken on, skips the people that they talked about, which is the middle class. All right. Now, do I consider myself middle class? Yes. Okay. What I'm telling you is that some of these policies that have been passed, especially by the Democrats, have not affected me.
So if the property value of someone that's lower than you or a community that's lower than you, they do something to pass that community, they property value raise. Is yours not going to raise from where
they
it is?
haven't? They haven't though. We can't talk in hypotheticals. I'm talking about what's
I'm
fact.
just saying, look at the bills that are passed or attempted to be passed, and then look who blocks them. My thing is we're impacted indirectly. They're not going to come knock on my door and say, hey, I did this just for you and people just like you.
I can feel the impact of the governor of Georgia.
Also, I was about to ask
my property taxes. I don't pay taxes. I get a tax cut on my retirement, my military retirement. Those are two things right there that's overwhelmingly benefit for me.
That's based on military.
That's very specific though, so I don't care about that necessarily because I never been to
it.
I have no issues with that. I don't vote. Hey, but Michael, vote accordingly. So don't come at me if I vote my interest.
Yeah,
that's all.
I just look at it. I'm a we voter, not a me voter, because if I vote for me and don't care about everybody else, whatever happens to them can eventually creep over into my house.
Absolutely, no, I'm a me voter. Everybody else been eating but us.
But I don't know if the governor championed that bill though.
Absolutely.
I don't think he championed that because I really think that was somebody else, but he signed the paperwork, of course.
He signed it. That's all that counted me.
Yeah, but I don't think any other governor would have been like, no, I'm not signing this.
Well, hey,
that's low hanging fruit.
To be honest with you, Georgia was one of the worst states for veterans.
It used to be.
Yeah,
but the Senate and the House got together. I don't think he unilaterally was like, hey, y'all, we need to figure this out. The Senate and the House got together here in Georgia and said, all right, let's figure it out. Let's figure it out.
God forbid now, because of your governor, I hate to say if somebody did you wrong corporately that you sue them, now you gonna be you gonna be capped at what you can sue that company for when they do you wrong. That just
like that here.
Hey, everybody, everything ain't 100%. But what I'm telling you is some of the policies that this man has put in place, you know what I'm saying? Some of the policies that he signed and didn't veto.
Okay, so with that said, so that means you're gonna support him over Raphael Warnock when he run for Senate, because I hear he's gonna be running against Raphael Warnock.
I'm gonna have to sit down and see exactly what Raphael did. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro.
Well, Raphael did a lot.
Yeah,
Raphael, a lot of stuff that got put in this legislation. Raphael was running that legislation.
And guess what? And I'll vote accordingly.
Yeah. You also have to look at who proposed what bills and who blocked the bills.
But you also got to look at the position because Kemp as governor may not be the same as Kemp as senator.
Absolutely, he gonna be Kemp, Donald Trump rubber stamper.
Well, Kemp got bigger plans. I know what Kemp trying to do.
Well, he also got a bigger task. Trump already don't like him, so
right.
Yeah, they still. He trying to get back in good graces, but it ain't.
He gonna run for president. He gonna run for president in 2028.
Yeah.
Roger gonna vote for him.
They gonna have.
Hey, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I probably will. If I feel like this man is gonna touch my life like he did as governor,
I'm not giving. I'm
Hey,
not giving.
what the politics
I'm not
is.
giving not one Republican. I'm not giving not one more
Not
Republican.
one. To me, it's the
not one more
ideology.
Republican. The ability to turn that Supreme Court is conservative and take us back to the handmaid's tale time. I'm not doing it.
To me, it's not the person, it's the policy. It's the ideology behind the policy. I don't care who the person is. What
you know what? And too many times in our lives, we have not voted correctly, I think.
Like in 2024?
I voted. Hey, I voted. Hey.
I'm saying as a country.
Yeah. Don't mix me up. Hey, don't mix me up with them people. You know what I'm saying? I take that as, I take that kind of person. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how I feel about Trump. I would have voted. I would have for the president of China before I voted for Trump.
The president of China.
Yeah. So don't get me twisted. But what I'm telling you guys is that we, as a Democratic Party, need to regroup. We went too far. We need to come back more to the center. We need to find somebody that fits that bill. If not, I feel like we're gonna continue to lose.
The Democrats.
I know because the right went pretty far, and they.
I think it's bigger. I think it's bigger than the center. The Democrats has to articulate a message that resonates with the voters, that deals with the voters on where they are. And if you put any major piece of legislation on the ballot, and even in conservative states, they are passing right to living wage, family medical leave time, kitchen table issues are passing, and Democrats need to articulate that message across the country, and I think they'll have a winning message.
And then the other piece of that, Edmund, is how much pain are these MAGAs willing to take before they can't?
They feel it now. I think a lot of them going back to Wayside. They're going back to the Appalachian. They're gonna leave politics altogether, like some of the other folks did this cycle with the Democrats.
But I'm gonna be here for y'all. Y'all motherfuckers don't. Hey, y'all don't bother me.
we need you, bro. We need you here for us.
We like the pushback. We like the pushback, man.
I'm the right king to get this done, bro.
You on the right or the left? You right there with Candace Owens now.
Yeah, man. You over there. You went. What's the white guy name? What's the white guy over there? He over there with
Candace Owens.
No,
I'm Joe Rogan trying to come back to the middle. What's going on, man?
Hey, I'm in the real world. I'm not a fan. I just don't sit there and read a printout and say that's how I make life decisions.
Nah, man. I've been at this for a while, man. I follow policy, man. I'm
not a stats guy. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm a numbers guy. I live by numbers, but I also know they lie. You get what I'm saying?
Well, they don't. Say everybody, tell, the story the way they want it to be told. But at the same time, you got to have people at the table. Say at the end of the day, no matter who you vote for, are you putting pressure on these people? And that's the problem where we fail as African Americans, that we elect people, but we don't hold them accountable when they get to office, and we don't continue to put pressure on them.
Exactly.
The squeaky wheel gets the oil. So if you're down there constantly at your local community local council meetings, school board meetings, even at the state capitol lobbying, at the federal capitol lobbying, you got to make your voice heard, and we don't do enough of that. We just go and think it's done.
And we need to figure out what we're arguing about. You know what I'm saying? Everybody not. Hey, look at here. My concerns ain't Edmund's concern. Me and Edmund have two different backgrounds. Hot Dog, me and you got two different backgrounds. Michael, we got two different backgrounds. All right. My concerns ain't gonna be you guys' concern. All right. It's some things that I don't care about, and some things I do care about. Some things impact my household more than it impact your household. You get what I'm saying? So I'm gonna vote accordingly. And that means I don't care if there's a black person, white person, or green person. Whoever I feel is voting my interest, I'm gonna do that. I'm done. I'm done with certain things. I'm done going in there and being a team player and not getting the reciprocal back to me. You know what I'm saying? Nothing returned back. I'm done with it.
This is something I think we can agree on, though, Roger. Even though the things you're talking about are more granular, we just want opportunity at equity and fairness. Can we agree on that?
Everybody want that. But my question to you guys is that it ain't the end of the world if it doesn't happen.
Right, but why is it a regular world to normalize the struggle?
Who cares?
I care. We care.
And I got you. I got you. What I'm telling you is life has always been unfair.
Right, but why do we normalize that?
The life has always been unfair.
Why do we have to normalize that?
I don't care. Why
should we normalize that?
Hey, but when you sitting back there caring, guess what I'm doing? I'm either going through that barrier or I'm going around that barrier.
It's right. One thing. It's one thing. Just because we make it through the barrier doesn't make the barrier right. And so although we go through the barriers, we can't just say just because we went through it, it's all right. I can't jail with that. I have one question, Michael. Has there been any updates on the local ordinance on the mobile home ordinance in Glenville? Is there any action or recourse around that ordinance?
From the city side, no. And that's something that we fight now on the local level, because there was supposed to be a public hearing on 2 months ago at the last council meeting, but the mayor just scrapped it, which you can't do, number one. So he was like, we're not even talking about it tonight, without amending the agenda first, or voting to table the item first, and then vote to amend the agenda. And then it's a public hearing, so there was no public, of course, notice that it would be canceled beforehand. So it really isn't any change or anything in place right now, but we still fighting that battle behind the scenes and outside of City Hall.
Do you think any legal action may be brought?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the mechanism to hold them accountable when they do it like that, though? There is none.
Yes, no. Sue.
Yeah, that's really the only option right now, is just pursue lawsuits on a few different ends.
Yeah, I never see no like PR campaigns though, like making bad press for them. Like when he doing that, nobody put anything out.
Yeah,
but see, Glenville's smart. They don't allow no cameras, no phones inside of City Hall, which I think is unconstitutional. I think that's just bad. You can't go to any council meetings and not.
Well, that's what they put, but I always take my phone. They don't take it or try to.
Oh, they try to take my phone. The police tried to take my phone. But that's unconstitutional. You shouldn't be able to do that.
I've seen several cities do that though. To me, I don't know what the actual wording is, but I've seen several cities have that policy, and obviously it's working because Grovetown up here in Columbia County.
It's these small towns that do it.
Yeah, it was a trailer park. From my understanding, 10, 15 years ago, it was a trailer park. I only see 3 trailer parks now. 3 trailers in that particular little town. They building and bringing other stuff in. From what I read was that if you had a trailer, it was grandfathered in, but you could not repair it or replace it. Or not repair it, you couldn't replace it.
And yeah, the issue is here now, though, is, in Grovetown and places like that, with the growth is helping the economy and providing opportunities for people so they can maybe have other options for housing. Here, there's no growth and nothing to stimulate the economy. So you're always going to need people who need that type of housing in a market where there's limited housing. So, and then you already, the way the zoning and the housing ordinance is written already is very restrictive. Is very restrictive anyway, because the lot sizes have to be way too big for any modern housing. And, you just can't really develop in a way that would help replace the need for the trailers and the trailer parks. And so now they have it to where you can't even really do anything with a trailer park, because even if you have one, you have to bring in a double wide and you can't bring in a single wide. And you have to have, again, a way too much space to really be able to operate it in the way you need to be able to provide that housing. And we're facing a situation where some people may end up homeless because of a private owner who is doing things to basically make people leave. But without something in place, there's no ability to move those trailers or to put them
Isn't that
anywhere
one
else.
across the street? Because I hear a lot of people having to
bro.
move. Why is he moving? Why is he moving those trailers? Is he trying to build homes there now or something?
I don't know. So he doesn't own the trailers. He only owns the lots. So he's basically, if you don't own if he doesn't own the trailer, then you have to move it. And I think he's either trying to bring in new ones or do something there. I'm not sure.
What is that?
Right across the street.
Yeah, across the street from our church.
Right there on 23.
Oh yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, but that to me, that's a form of housing discrimination, and
It really is.
It's some stuff you need to look at that, and it's even land taking because, like, let's say King's Trailer Park over there. You mean tell me y'all got land is already zoned for trailers, and y'all got vacant spaces where y'all can bring more trailers in and make more money? You're now taking my property, saying I can't even put a trailer there on my property that's already zoned for mobile homes. And
But
so
to my
that is
like I said, to my understanding, even when I was still in Glenville, granddaddy trailers and grandma trailers were grandfathered in. If I'm mistaken, they were grandfathered in and they couldn't be replaced.
So no, they tried to do it a few times where they wouldn't allow, trailers in town, but they never could get it passed because it was always kind of balanced on the council. But this time they finally got it passed. So they were always able to. You really could up until there was a brief period of time where it was like 6 months where they had a moratorium or so on trailers. In certain zoning, well, in the whole town. But then after that, you could bring in trailers, operate trailer parks as you needed to, without so many restrictions. And then now recently, probably 2020, whatever year I got off the council is the year that they passed that housing. It's very restrictive housing ordinance. And then this past year is when they passed the no trailers in town at all.
Yeah. You can blame your granddaddy for building that house out there. They was talking about him building a subdivision.
Where?
Granddaddy, that's one of the reasons why that they come up with that new housing ordinance was so Granddaddy, when he built that house, and then Uncle Moosey built his house. If I ain't mistaken, your dad and Uncle Kane had a plot nearby.
Yeah, so Daddy's was around the corner though.
Yep, and your dad's was nearby, and then Uncle Kane had another plot, and I
think Uncle Kane's is between the church and Uncle Moose, or was between. I think it's over there somewhere.
Yeah, but they accused them of trying to develop a what they call it, the housing area
subdivision.
Subdivision.
Yeah. It was like, no, that wasn't the case. And then on top of that, that's when they made Granddaddy tie into the city. I mean, he wasn't tied into the city at all. He had his own water.
Yeah,
he system in the back or whatever, and they come out and made that change.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because you look in Texas. I was out there last month in San Antonio. Man, you would see compounds of 5 or 6 homes on one piece of property where the entire family lived on, whether it's the mother and father, the son, the daughter. They all had their own homes on one giant piece of land.
But it's amazing how these folks who consider themselves conservative Republicans, they believe in less government until it affects them, and then they want to start prying at people's and taking property rights. They used to be the main keep your hands off my property and give me liberty or give me death type people. Now they're the main ones.
Yeah, they're the main ones.
Oh, that was tongue in cheek. It's all about power, proximity to power.
Yeah.
Yeah, but man, that's a great show tonight. I know we got a little high pitch tonight. Uncle Roderick. I ain't gonna call you Uncle Ruckus. That's my big brother, Uncle Roderick. So good show. Any announcements? Michael and Micaiah said you're gonna send me some videos you guys took, and I'm
gonna we took some today. I gotta send those to you, but that's pretty much, man. June 12th. If you haven't called, if you're a lady, you haven't called. If you haven't had your mammogram this year, the mobile mammogram bus is coming here. It's gonna be in front of Optum. Pretty much, if you have insurance and you have she'll explain. But if you have a primary doctor, really, you can call, get your appointment. If you're uninsured or underinsured, there's funding, so you can get the mammogram done, even if you don't have enough insurance or you don't have insurance at all. So don't worry about that. Just call, get your appointment scheduled, and yeah, man, early detection is everything because you can get treated early and you could save a life, save your life or save somebody else's.
Exactly,
man,
health as well.
Everybody, man, get everybody out there. It shouldn't be. We should be at 100%. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. One thing I've been working with her in the background, so we had a goal of getting 20 women out there. I think 9 have signed up so far for appointments. So stay tuned for more information that's going to come out from Micaiah. And like Roger said, we want as many as we can out there. I say we need 30 to 40.
Have some flyers ready to go out to them the Boots and Dukes event.
Oh yeah, we getting the flyers.
You got the smoke off in May.
Oh yeah. So we got a whole bunch of good events that we could market at. Hospitals, getting in the hospital, newspapers gonna run in there, and then like Shannon said, he gonna do his thing. I got to send you the videos, and we'll go from there. We need to have at least 20, like he said. There's a certain number they want to hit because of the funding and the grants that they get to be able to do it. And man, we don't want to let little towns like Scriven, Sylvania. They have to come twice to Sylvania. Nobody live out there, but they go out there twice because the demand is so much and they take it that serious in little old Scriven County. And we don't want to get outdone over here in Tatton County. So sign up, even if you're in Reedsville, Collins, Cobbtown, wherever, sign up.
Yep. And I know Sunday night is a tough night, so a lot of people is going to see this replay. So like you said, stay tuned for more information to come. And then last thing, we got to talk about this Corner Store Live podcast, fellas. When y'all think we can do it this summer?
I'll say that weekend,
man. Whenever y'all want to do it,
I didn't know the 12th was actually on a Thursday, bro. All that time I was thinking it was a Saturday. The 12th is on a Thursday. So
what's happening on the 12th?
That's when the appointments for the mammograms are.
Oh,
on June 12th?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, we can still do it that weekend. Get together, find a spot, host a live podcast.
We probably can do it, man. They got I heard they got several options for Airbnb out there.
All right, and then I didn't know if y'all want to do it with a crowd and then make it more engaging and entertaining.
Oh yeah,
that would be fun.
I like when Shannon and Ocho do it. They do the nightcap like in Vegas, or when a major sporting events go on, they do it.
Invite the crowd out.
Boy, we might have to get security for Roderick though. But
hey, bro. Hey, I'm Green Street born and raised. Ain't nobody around there I'm worried about.
I know, but we don't want to shoot that you would hit one of us. We don't want to shoot that you would hit one of us.
Hey, I carry 2 of me.
Yeah, but which one can block the bullets coming back?
Yeah, that's y'all big. Hey.
Nah, you know we love you, bro.
Yeah, we should do a show on the road.
Yeah, man. I don't mind, but hey, bro, some people just can't handle my mouth, man. That's all it is, bro.
You good, bro. See, we used to it. We can go back at you.
Absolutely. That's what. Hey, it wouldn't be a dialogue. We ain't have difference of opinions.
Man,
man. If they grew up in Glenville and they can't handle your mouth, then because we got uncles that's worse, a word worse, I'll say.
And guess what? I'll be right there with them. You know, I heard that people didn't want to talk to me about tithes and offerings. Come on.
Oh, Lord.
Come on. Hey, I sat down with the Queen Bee. Me and her discussed it.
Now, that kind of stuff, I might be on your side, big bro. I'm definitely on your side.
I just don't agree. Let me tell you something. If I don't agree, I just don't agree. You know, I always listen to you guys, but I don't agree. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's so
and if
good.
you keep regurgitating the same stuff, I ain't gonna do nothing deals in.
Exactly. You notice I don't really chime in a lot when you start going off because I'll be like, it ain't nothing. They gonna say that. It's gonna change.
When y'all
I just want them to think. I just try to make them think. I respond with something to think about. That's what I try to make them do.
Nah, because when he pulled that cigarette out and light it, that's it.
I already know. Here it comes.
Hey, they got him a sip or something. I know they got him a sip or something.
Yeah, I'm fresh off vacation, bro. I'm supposed to be on duty right now, watching my grandbaby.
I got to get up and do my taxes in the morning, bro.
No, you waiting too late, bro.
Well, I was about to say.
No, I do it this time every year, man. Every year around this time. So
why you trying to delay seeing that bill?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, I was happy this year.
If you're tuned in, man, thank y'all for tuning in. It was a long show. We tested out Sunday night, so I know the attendance wasn't real heavy on the live, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to go back and watch the replay. So we may go back to Thursdays. My son has track meets on Thursday, but they should be over by 8. So stay tuned for the pop-ups. We'll get more announcements out, and then stay tuned for the events to come. The group Dream Up has an event, I think, in August. I'm going to see if they can get me more information on that. I think they're going to try to redo what they did last year and hopefully get more engagement with that as well. So anyone doing something positive, we want to push back, get their awareness out, and get their exposure up. So until next time, thank you for tuning in to the Corner Store. Peace and love.
All right.